That is beautifully restoring some of the old buildings along the waterfront area while riding the crest of the offshore oil exploration and building a modern new city core, best exemplified by buildings like the Metro Center and Scotia Square. And so to St. Mary's University, the campus, and Husky Stadium, where today TSN presents Canadian Intercollegiate Football, the St. Francis Xavier X-Men against the St. Mary's Huskies. Since 1962, these two teams have won the Atlantic Conference Championship 7 times each. And each team also has the Vanier Cup to its credit. The X-Men won it in 1966, and the Huskies won it in 1973. But both teams are struggling just a little bit this year. The Huskies are looking towards next season, while Lance Bullock's X-Men are trying to make the playoffs this year.
Mediocre season. We're 2-2. We were favored when we started off. Got ourselves into a hole by going 0-2 right off the bat. And then I think we started what I've been trying to get the team to do all season is a little bit of a steamroller effect. We beat St. Mary's, and then we had a very good game against Acadia last week, and hopefully we'll continue that trend and change from being mediocre to the champions that we have been the last 2 years.
Well, if I had to describe it in one word, I'd have to say frustration is the word. We've been winning in our past 3 games up to the 3-quarter mark, and I couldn't finish it off. The first game we lost in the first 5 minutes due to 3 or 4 turnovers early in the game, and the guys just haven't matured enough to learn how to win yet and to finish it off. I think we have a young team. I think we're getting better every game, and I think today we're going to put it together and win.
And we'll see what happens. I'm Peter Watts along with John Wells and Tuffy Knight. John looking for a good football game here between two teams that have played each other a lot. This is great football country down here in Atlantic Canada.
Well, there's a great atmosphere for football. 5 major schools in the area. While Dalhousie does not take part in the football program, it has an excellent hockey team and an excellent basketball team in other months of the year. But football is the topic today, and we're going to look at this Atlantic Conference with 2 teams out in front, leading the way Acadia and Mount Allison with 3-1 records. The teams we'll see today, St. Mary's and St. Francis, are down the list a little ways. But for St. Francis in particular, there's still a chance to make the playoffs with a record of 2-2. And perhaps the fact that there's not a great deal of professional sport in these parts makes college football and college sports in general one of the main topics on the streets of Halifax and all throughout Nova Scotia.
And it certainly is a topic that is discussed at length. John, now let's bring in Tuffy Knight here. Tuffy, a couple of key players we want to watch. Let's talk about Mr. Dempsey, first of all. Great running back for St. Francis Xavier.
Yeah, Don Dempsey. He was the most valuable player last year in the AUAA. And he also was all-Canadian. He's an outstanding running back. Not very big. He's about 5'8", 178 pounds, but a very powerful type kid. They count on him basically for most of their running, and the offense is kind of geared around him. He can also catch a ball coming out of the backfield. He's an outstanding player, and as he goes, so goes the St. Francis Xavier football team.
And it's fair to say that as Terry O'Brien, the quarterback of the Huskies, goes, so go the Huskies.
Well, that's true. Terry's an outstanding football player. I know him quite well. I tried to recruit him a couple years ago. He's a big quarterback, 6'3", 200 pounds. He's one of the few quarterbacks in Canada can drop back and throw the ball over the line and see because of his height. He's also a pretty good runner, and he's a young quarterback that needs a little more experience, but if he has a good game today, he'll be outstanding, and St. Mary's will be tough to beat.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your comments as we get this game underway. It's the St. Mary's Huskies and the St. Francis Xavier X-Men here on TSN's CIAU Football. The opening kickoff coming up in just a moment. Welcome to Husky Stadium in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm Peter Watts, back here with John Wells and Tuffy Knight, getting ready for what we hope will be a good football game between two schools that have battled each other over the years in a lot of sports, and certainly one of the most intense rivalries in Canadian intercollegiate sport. The officials today, the referee is Phil Lasseline, the umpire is Roy Keese, the back umpire is Pat Muldoon, linesman is Doug Rideout, and the field judge is Max Keeping. As you look down the lineup at the X-Men's offense, the quarterback will be Dave Austin, number 7, Steve Gorgachuk from Kingston, the fullback, Don Dempsey, the halfback that we talked about in the pregame show. Then we have the receivers, Dave Muller, Martin Rochon, Bill McIntyre, who's really the man to watch in this offense, I think, the split end, and Joe Harrup will be the tight end, number 77. And the Huskies offense, Terry O'Brien, again, the player we talked about, will be a key performer for the Huskies today. Will Durston at fullback, Calvin Scott, Jeff Marshall, Matt Graham, Jeff McLean, and Tony Thomas, the tight end, number 22. Both schools using a tight end, which is something of a different approach than we see normally in football circles. We'll see how they perform, gentlemen, as we get ready for the opening kickoff.
All right, Peter, and it'll be St. Francis kicking off to the St. Mary's Huskies, getting the ball game underway. Yadrin Milanovic at the 20-yard line. Mike O'Brien, number 27, gets field position for St. Mary's Huskies, but not really very good field position. They'll start near the 20-yard line with their first offensive sequence, and Terry O'Brien will see what he can get going for the Huskies as they look for their first victory of 1984. They were losers last week by 4 points to Mount Allison. Mount Allison currently in a tie for top place in the Atlantic Conference with Acadia. So it'll be first down for O'Brien and the St. Mary's Huskies. And not much running room there for Jeremy, number 23.
John, that was just a straight handoff, just a power play, straight on blocking and a straight handoff to Jeremy. There was a little hole there, but he kind of stumbled there as he come through there and didn't hit the thing very clean.
So it'll be a gain of 3, marked as touch, and 2nd and 7 for the Huskies. Jeremy once more, and Jeremy good running that time up to the 27-yard line, or the 33-yard line, I should say.
They've got that field markings on there for the soccer.
I'm a little confused by
that line
kind
of confused you just a little bit, John.
The third down, 1 yard to go, and the punting unit comes in for St. Mary's.
Larry Utek's Huskies have scored only 39 points in their first 4 games, and so obviously the big improvement that he will be looking for between now and the start of the next season is in the offensive game. Terry O'Brien, of course, the quarterback, is key to that improvement.
Scott Anderson. And that one off the side of his foot. There will likely be no play on it, the 50-yard line, so St. Francis X-Men will have excellent field position for their first offensive sequence. And they'll be led by Billy Ray Somerville today, number 9 at quarterback. Somerville started his first game in college football last week and won, beating Acadia. It was a bit of an upset as St. Francis knocked off Acadia last week, and Billy Ray Somerville was called into action when the number 1 quarterback for the X-Men was unavailable. So it's first down, St. Francis at the 50. Don Dempsey, 23, the ball carrier. And he's out to the 55-yard line. Or check that, the 45-yard line. A 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5.
Right now, John, they're in 3-down territory almost. You know, they get this first down, and they're going to be in a position where they can use that 3rd down as an offensive play rather than punt the ball. So this puts a lot of pressure on St. Mary's defense right off the bat.
On 2nd and 5, Somerville will throw, and he has a target, first down. Muller, Dave Muller, number 70.
Okay, it's a straight drop back pass. Quarterback stays in the pocket, and Muller goes down and just does a curl in. Goes down about 12 yards, does a curl in. The ball delivered right on the button. St. Mary's linebackers have got to get back and probably help out on that play a little bit. That's where I think the mistake was.
First down for the X-Men. And Dempsey one more time. And not much that time for Dempsey. You talked about him at the outset. What are his strengths, Dempsey?
Well, I think he's got good quickness and pretty fair speed, and he has to get past the line of scrimmage. And if he gets past the line of scrimmage, I think he's tough to bring down. He's got good agility, and he'll fake you a little bit, finesse you a little bit out there in the open field. That time, St. Mary's closed him down before he got a chance to get started.
Not much finesse on that play. It's 2nd and 10. Ball inside the 35-yard line of St. Mary's. Somerville tries the left side, falls, and he's down at the 30-yard line.
There was an outstanding block there by St. Francis Xavier, and Somerville had the outside. If he had a ball in there, I think he could have got the first down, could have ran the ball because it was a wide open field there. These guys probably from St. Francis Xavier are not used to playing on the turf, and if you're not used to that, it kind of has a tendency to grab your feet at times, and it'll trip you up more so than grass, and that's what happened to him now on that one. I think he would have had the first down.
So the X-Men call on their kicker, Yadrin Milanovic. And from just inside the 40-yard line, he'll look for 3. And he's right on target, so the X-Men move out in front on their first offensive possession, coming away with 3 points. And it's 3-0. St. Francis leading St. Mary's early in quarter 1 in Halifax.
Gentlemen, you know, these two teams have met once so far this season. That one went to the X-Men by a score of 27-12. In that ball game, Don Dempsey rushed for 181 yards and carried the ball 31 times. That's the most carries by a running back in the CIAU so far this year.
Huskies 1st and 10. They begin at their own 35-yard line. Steve Jeremy, one more time, number 23. He has a gain of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
That was a fake to the fullback and kind of a cross-buck to Jeremy, and the holds there, he's just getting bumped a little bit, and it's knocked him off balance. Otherwise, he's going to break that for a big yardage. If he could just keep it balanced a little bit there on that first initial contact.
On 2nd and 6. Jeremy once more. And he has a first down across the 45-yard line. So that's the first down of the afternoon for St. Mary's.
This is just a power play. The fullback leads there and blocks out on 42, and Jeremy does a good job breaking some tackles here. See, he carried the players there for about 3 or 4 yards and became a little more of a power runner in that situation.
From the 46-yard line, first down St. Mary's. Jeremy once more, he's out across the 50, the 52-yard line.
He's running a little tougher right now, John. The first couple times he got bumped there and he went down, but the last 2 times he carried the ball now, he's ran a little tougher and a little harder and making some yardage, getting 5 yards, 6 yards, where before he was only getting 3 and 4. That makes a great deal of difference in your offense, what's coming up on the next play if you have them 2nd and 4.
That's what it is, 2nd and 4 after a 6-yard pickup. Jeremy once more. Flags are down as Jeremy crosses midfield. Number 23, Steve Jeremy.
And we have a marker, and it looks like holding against St. Mary's, so that will stop that drive, although perhaps the X-Men won't take the penalty and elect instead to get the ball. We should mention that the St. Mary's is operating right now into the teeth of a pretty good breeze, which may explain in part the reason why they are keeping the ball on the ground in this first quarter.
Number 51 for St. Mary's, caught on the play. That's Darrell Godet.
That's kind of unusual, John. Most of the time in amateur football, they'll tell you who the team was holding, but they don't point out the player. But here they pointed out the player.
That's referee this day, Paul Lasseline, or Phil Lasseline, I should say.
So we're coming up to the midway point in the first quarter. 3-0, St. FX over St. Mary's.
And got it for Paul DiGiacchino. And DiGiacchino comes up well short of the first down. St. Mary's needing 15 yards, so they'll have to kick it away. DiGiacchino, number 37, expected to see a lot of work this day. But Jeremy has been the main ball carrier for St. Mary's to this stage in quarter 1. 5 carries for Jeremy, 26 yards. Scott Anderson on 3rd down. All the way to the 25-yard line. And no running room whatsoever that time, but flags are down. Maybe St. Mary's a little over anxious and getting inside that restraining area.
Yeah, I think, John, that was a no yards. That was a bad break for St. Mary's because the ball hit the artificial turf and bounced back towards St. Mary's, and then they were unable to get out of the way. And that was a pretty good punt. It was a low punt into the wind, and now they ended up losing 15 yards on it because of the penalty.
You think that rule should be changed?
Well, I definitely think it should be
Needs some
changed.
discretion.
It's if they're trying to get out of the way, then I think that that you don't call it. But referees don't use very good judgment sometimes on that play.
First down for the X-Men. Georgia Chuck, number 29. And he's out across the 45. Bumped into an old friend of yours out here in Halifax.
I've got a lot of old friends out here.
Quarterback in the Canadian Football League and also with St. Mary's a few years ago, Billy Robinson. He was reminding me of a couple of games that the Huskies played against your Wilfrid Laurier team back in the early 70s. And I don't know if this is quite correct, but Billy was saying that he beat you twice in a row.
Yeah, he didn't tell you about 1972.
No, he was talking 73 and 74.
Yeah, he wouldn't talk 72. They got beat 52-12. He wouldn't talk about that.
Said you had a pretty good team. You were the favorites, and you were upset both years. Is that correct?
Always a favorite, because I figure I should win them all.
Billy Ray Somerville. Looking that time for Bill McIntyre. McIntyre had some space to maneuver in behind that St. Mary's secondary. The pass just a little overthrown. Maybe the wind got to that one.
Well, I think so. He was open. He just didn't get the ball delivered to him because the wind is very strong out there. And like I said, when you're throwing with the wind, you'll get some float. It's a straight drop back pass. See, he gets up there high, and there he goes. See, he has the outside. If the ball's delivered over the outside shoulder, he can complete it. But it's tough to throw that ball when you're throwing it with the wind because the wind will carry it.
Milanovich kicking on third down. This one off the side of his foot. Bouncing near the 40-yard line. And falling out at that time, the Shenzi, number 7 for the Huskies. So the Huskies will start with a little better field position this time around. They're just outside their 40-yard line at the 42. 3-0, St. FX have the lead. And we're still early in the opening quarter in Halifax. Down and 6, St. Francis. And they'll be stopped short of a first down. Dempsey, the ball carrier. And McClare, 44. Big tackle for St. Mary's, so that'll keep the X-Men hemmed in their own zone, and they'll have to kick it away. On the exchange, St. Mary's may come out of this fairly well.
Well, they're punting with the wind, so they could get, you know, a pretty decent punt. A while ago, Peter, we were talking about, you know, Jeremy carrying the ball a lot. Both teams basically use a two-back offense, and they use their fullback basically to block with, and then their tailback carries the ball, and that's, like I said, St. Mary's fullback looks to me like he's not really an outstanding runner, so they give the ball to the tailback an awful lot.
Malarvik for Mike O'Brien. Malarvik averaging 39 yards on 2 punts this afternoon. That one not quite the distance he was looking for. And so the Huskies do, in fact, come up with excellent field position. They're right near the 50-yard line for this first down.
Still 1 minute and 57 seconds to go in the first quarter, and we'll see what the Huskies offense can do on this particular series. This will be their 4th possession of the quarter, and so far they've had a little bit of success along the ground. They have had no success through the air at all, but perhaps we'll see something a little different. They will have the wind in the second quarter. We might look for Somerville to open up a little bit more then.
Little mix-up in the backfield. Jeremy once more, number 23, and he's to the midfield stripe and across. A good gain of maybe 6 yards. Scott Jeremy. He has been the only running threat that the St. Mary's Huskies have used, or Steve Jeremy.
This is a form of the option play, John. Watch this. He'll fake the fullback here, fakes the fullback, then come on out there and pitches. The guard leads. 51's the guard lead. Pretty good play right there with the guard leading around the corner, but it's kind of a form of the option play a little bit. Where the quarterback could have come out and challenged just a little more there.
They mark it a gain of 7. This is 2nd and 3, and Jeremy once more. He'll be short of the first.
It's going to be kind of nail-biting time for the coach now.
Decision time.
Yeah.
Looks like maybe even less than a yard.
Well, yeah, it's just about a yard. 3rd and 1. Looks like they're going to go for it.
Good time. Good time to gamble. No?
Yeah, I think so,
3rd and 1?
Yeah, I would go for
This
it.
point.
You're 0-4, you can take these kind of gambles.
O'Brien kept it himself. Now, whether he got the first down or not, maybe a moment or two away before we can find out exactly.
Where they spot the ball will be key. I agree with you, Tuffy. I think it was a good time to go for it. When you're 0-4, you can do those sorts of things. But he's trying to teach this young team some confidence and give them a little confidence in their own ability to play the game of football. And I think it's a good move to take the opportunity and let them try and make the first down.
It's always a much better time when you do make it, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to miss it by 3 inches.
3 inches, you're saying?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
You haven't been wrong yet, have you?
Oh, he made it by 3.
He made it by 3. You know?
Made it by 3.
You know what? When you play at St. Mary's, watch it.
Second effort is going to get it for him.
Yeah, when you play in St. Mary's, these lines are a little crooked, you know.
Tuffy, that's a brand new field out there. How can you say that?
Well, I know, but the guy that painted it, he worked for St. Mary's. He worked for Bob Hayes. Bob Hayes, the athletic director. He tells him how to paint those lines.
He's an old pal of yours, Bob Hayes?
Yeah, he's definitely an old pal.
I haven't seen him here this week. Have you seen him?
Oh, yeah, I saw him just briefly. I didn't get a chance to talk to him yet. I'll see him later on.
Have you checked your hotel bill to find out if he added anything to it?
No, probably not.
After that last line, you will definitely see him before you leave.
He usually charges $400 or $500 on my bill, you know, at the hotel.
This program is protected by copyright and is intended solely for the non-commercial entertainment of the viewing audience. Any use, reproduction, or distribution in whole or in part of the pictures or descriptions herein contained without the express written consent of the Sports Network is strictly prohibited.
That's Pat Jancy shaken up on the last play, but he's off under his own power now. We expect to see him back in action. Meantime, it's a first down for the St. Mary's Huskies. O'Brien 1 for 2 in passing for 5 yards, 2 rushes for 16, including a big first down earlier. This is Jeremy to the outside and some running room for Steve Jeremy down the sideline and ruled out at the 35.
What a
big play.
What a super block by Pazzaretti, number 55, to spring that play around the corner.
Okay, here we are. Pazzaretti, he's the guard here. Watch him pull out of the line. There he is. 55 pulls out of the line. Keep your eye on him there as he goes around the corner. Jeremy kind of gets right on his back. There it is. Knocks the man right down there. There, 79 knocked him down, and Jeremy just kind of followed him. And I think I would try that again. Put Jeremy on his back, right on his tail, and follow him because he looks like a pretty big man going around once he turns upfield.
Husky offense on the move. This is Jeremy once more. Check that Will Durston 33. Jeremy wears 23.
That was a reverse right there. That,
and it really didn't fool anybody.
Well, no, I'm Coach Utek doesn't need to get fancy yet, you know. You only get fancy when you get behind and you think things are tough.
Well, it's the end of quarter 1 at Husky Stadium in Halifax, with St. Francis in a 3-0 lead on St. Mary's. Nothing St. Francis, but St. Mary's in scoring position now inside the 40-yard line with a second down and 7 to go situation. Jeremy once more, and Jeremy is short of the first down. He gets the inside the 30-yard line.
That was the same play they ran a while ago to the right. This time they ran it to the left and, you know, picked up about 5 yards on the play.
Jeremy 13 carries for 69 yards.
They got Godet, number 51, out in front leading that play that time, Tuffy, and he didn't have quite as much success as Pazzaretti did on that play you referred to late in the first quarter.
No, Pazzaretti, what he did, he hit the St. Francis Xavier player, knocked him down, and he fell in and took out another player as he was rolling on the ground where Pazzaretti had hit him.
You like that domino effect if you're a running back, don't you?
Yes, I like that as a coach even.
Terry O'Brien will hold on third down. And a field goal situation from the 35-yard line. Jerry Forster. And he's wide. Jerry Foster wide. Exman will give up the single point. So the Huskies are at least on the board. It's 3-1.
He had enough leg on that. He just didn't, his direction wasn't good. And he's a freshman. And this is what happens. You get young freshmen out there kicking. And it's very difficult because of the pressure on them. And like I said, he hit the ball fairly well, but the direction was just off.
Jerry Foster from Burlington, Ontario. He must have gone to the Bernie Ruoff School of Field Goal Kicking, I would imagine.
Well, Bernie could have taught him. He could probably do that.
therein lies the story of the St. Mary's dilemma this year, a team that can move the ball on occasion and get down into scoring position, and then can't score any points, coming away with just one there on their best opportunity so far.
You mentioned earlier, Peter, that in 4 games, St. Mary's had 39 points on the season, 4 losses. Dan Dempsey on first down for St. Francis.
I think that's a definite sign of a team that's young and immature. You know, they'll go along and run 5 or 6, maybe 8 offensive plays, execute extremely well. Then one of the young fellows will decide, not intentionally, but kind of lack of concentration, will blow a play or 2, and then they end up stopping the drive.
Second down and 6 for the X-Men now. Just short of their 40-yard line at quarterback. Billy Ray Somerville. Somerville will throw this one now. Decides to get away. And he's down on one knee before the line of scrimmage. So the X-Men having a little bit of a problem offensively in their last 2 sequences. They haven't moved the ball, haven't picked up a first down.
St. Francis, they lined up in a wishbone that time. Quarterback dropped back to pass. No one's open, and he runs. He could come very close to getting the first down if he hadn't slipped on that turf. I don't understand him slipping that much on this turf. That usually doesn't happen.
So far, Don Dempsey with 5 carries for just 16 yards. He rushed for 181 yards against the Huskies in the game between these 2 teams on the 29th of September down in Antigonish. So he's being held in check pretty much so far.
Malarvik. And another short kick fielded by McClare. 44 for the Huskies, and he is swarmed all over at the 45-yard line.
He paid an awful price for not just running to the sidelines after he caught that ball. There were 5 blue shirts charging at him, and he wasn't going to go anywhere.
Tacklers led by Greg Knapp, Peter.
He really took a pounding.
Well, he probably felt that he was going to punish them a little bit, you know.
You think he might go for the sidelines next time he sees that developing?
I don't believe so. No, he's not that type of individual. He wants to come up there and figure 5-on-1 is just about a handful.
So again, St. Mary's coming out of it with excellent field position. They begin from their own 46-yard line with a first down. See what Terry O'Brien can do to move the team this time. No running room whatsoever that time for Steve Jeremy, 23. He was met right at the line of scrimmage.
Mr. Jancy, Pat Jancy, number 35, with a good, solid defensive play in there. Stood right in the middle of that rush, fought off a block, and made the tackle almost by himself.
Mark Jeremy's gain at 1 yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
He's a 4-year linebacker, Jancy is. He played that very well and come up and put the old shoulder and hat right in there on him.
This time O'Brien puts it up to the far side, and he was out of bounds. The intended receiver way over there was Will Durston, 33.
One of the things that I've noticed in reviewing some of the statistics for this game is that this is not really a solid passing conference. Even the leading quarterback in the league over at Acadia has thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns this year. And so the passing game has not been a very strong part of Atlantic Conference football in 1984.
That pass there fluttered because now he's throwing with the wind, St. Mary's, and Terry O'Brien threw the ball. As I said, it gets caught up in that wind, and I think you're better off throwing against the wind. That ball there fluttered and then just was clear out of bounds.
On third down, Scott Anderson will kick it away for St. Mary's. Bruce Loney and John McIver are deep for the X-Men, back near their own 15. Durston, number 33, is being helped off the field. They're the deep man for the X-Men. Anderson standing at his 33. Low snap. And a low kick, but fairly effective. Taken by John McIver. And McIver had nowhere to go that time. Good downfield coverage by St. Mary's.
So with 11 minutes and 18 seconds to play in the first half, it's 3-1. St. Francis Xavier over St. Mary's. Back with more football action from Husky Stadium in Halifax in a moment.
And for St. Francis, they begin just across their 50-yard line at the 52. This is Don Dempsey. Dempsey, good running room, and he comes up close to the first down. Mike O'Brien, 27, helping out on the tackle.
That was just lined up in a wishbone again, and it's just a power sweep with the two backs leading. And I think they like this better. A lot of teams will run a power sweep with pulling a guard. Here they are. The two backs lead, pitches the ball back to Dempsey, and he looks for any opening there, and he cuts it upfield. Right there he sees this, oh, and he cuts back here. Good job there. They just overpower you there and knock you down and run over top of you.
8th carry for Don Dempsey, and he has 34 yards. 9 on that last play. It's 2nd and 1, and they'll have a first down. The X-Men from St. Francis.
That punt that St. Mary's punted a while ago was about 55 yards, I think, Scott Anderson, which got him out of a hole, but they're not careful. Let St. Francis Xavier get another first down or two. They'll be right back. X-Men
on the move right now on 2 running plays. They have a first down, and they're inside Husky territory at the 45. Dave Muller to the near sideline, number 70. No running room that time for Bruce Loney, 26. Good tackle by Jim Hatcher, 52 for the Huskies. He got Loney well behind the line of scrimmage. Will be a loss of 4 yards.
Okay, it's just a power sweep to this side here, but Hatcher splits the blocks. There he comes, right there he comes. He comes off there where the back side there, shot the gap, and did a good job of getting Loney before he could even get to the line of scrimmage.
Number 57, Carl Cook, also did a good job on that play for the Huskies. It's 2nd and 14 for the X-Men, back near the 50-yard line of St. Mary's now. Somerville will throw, sidelines. He has his man. Good catch by Bill McIntyre, number 28. Good for a first down inside the 35-yard line. They'll spot it about the 33.
Okay, this is a straight drop back pass, and watch his feet. Good foot. There, see how he threw that ball for foot? That ball had some zip on it, and he does a great job of catching and coming down. Actually, he came down with both feet inbounds there, which is just outstanding because he had to go straight up in the air and come down and got him down very quick. Otherwise, he would have been out of bounds.
14-yard pickup on the play. Somerville now 2 for 7 in passing for 25 yards. And a big first down on that last play.
That was the key play because it was 2nd and about 12 or 13 there.
Don Dempsey. And Dempsey has close to 5 yards, I believe.
He's starting to pile up the yardage just a little bit now here in this second quarter. He's been able to break a couple of plays. As you look at some of his statistics over the course of the last year, he's been one of the great players in Atlantic University football. Perhaps the best offensive weapon of any of the schools here in the Atlantic Conference. Don Dempsey, an All-Canadian last year, and certainly the most valuable player in the Atlantic University Conference in 1983.
5-yard pickup. It's 2nd and 5 for the X-Men. Now at the Huskies' 34-yard line. Or 29-yard line, I should say. And not much for Dempsey that time. He comes up short of the first down after a gain of 2, met by Jim Hatcher, 52 for the Huskies. The score is 3-1, and we're approaching the end of the second quarter at Husky Stadium in Halifax. Low scoring day of football. 3-1 is the score. And wide on his second time this afternoon, Tom Daly accepting in the end zone. Jadron Milanovic got his first field goal try, and he's now missed 2 in a row.
I thought he hit that ball a little better. At least he hit it fairly solid that time, and just missed it on the left side. But he hit that better than the one he made. So the Huskies escape once more, just giving up a single point that time.
It does feel like a hockey afternoon. It's 3-2.
Yeah, Hatcher stopped that power sweep to the left there. He's every time they run that thing to the left, he kind of splits the gap on him, and he's done a real good job for him there at the tackle.
1st and 10 Huskies. They trail it. And a long pass. O'Brien had his man well in the open.
You cannot deliver a football any better than that, Tuffy.
No, he threw that ball up, and when you're throwing that thing on the sideline there, if you're throwing it on the sideline, you throw it to the sideline or out of bounds. Make him catch it over the outside shoulder. That way it doesn't get picked off. And that's exactly where he delivered that football that time. If we could see that, I don't know, I guess we won't be able to get a replay of that, but that was thrown perfectly. Right on his hand.
2nd down and 10 facing the Huskies now from their 35-yard line. They trail it 4-1. Over the middle. And that time, John Lucan had the pass behind him. Lucan in his 2nd year, a native of Halifax.
As you look at Lance Bullock, and his face mirrors the concern that he has for this offensive unit of his that has not performed up to standard, at least so far, and certainly his defense there is, I think, fortunate, gentlemen, that he hasn't been able to do the job on this series either.
On that replay right there, the pass was thrown behind the receiver there, and he was unable to adjust to make the catch. To make that catch, it would have been a fantastic catch. There goes a booming punt again.
Great kick by Scott Anderson. That's Bruce Loney on the return for the X-Men. And Loney met at the 20-yard line by a horde of tacklers for St. Mary's, led by Jim Fitzsimmons. Now there's a flag down near the area.
I don't know what the call is, and I know you're not supposed to be critical of the officials.
But you're going to be
But
anyway.
I'm going to be anyway,
Okay.
because, you know, I feel that they're human, and they do occasionally make a mistake, the same as I have.
They should be able to accept criticism.
That's right. I made a mistake back in 47 or something like that, and I'm sure that they will accept that. But that flag was thrown after the whistle had blown and the play was over, and I don't think it was he's called it blocking from the rear, and it was kind of almost like a kiss, you know, a little bump in the back there. It wasn't something that I don't feel that needs to be called unless it's affecting the play.
Well, we'll
But
note
that's
that.
my opinion. That's all.
That's only your opinion, so we'll take it for what it's worth.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, the X-Men are deep in their own zone now, just across the 10-yard line with a 1st down. 47 seconds to play in the opening half. And the X-Men in control of a 4-1 lead.
Now, a good play right now would be for St. Mary's to call timeout. I think that they call timeout because they're going to get this ball in fairly good field position if they can hold them on this play.
We'll see if your
Here's the instant replay there. It's a broken play. The quarterback turned the wrong way, or the backs went the wrong way. I'm not sure. Somebody was wrong, and it was a broken play, and they end up losing about 4 yards on that play. You notice how he heard me on that? See, he just called timeout, John.
Well, it was St. Francis that called the timeout.
Oh, well, Bullock probably heard me also, but I don't know if that was a good move for St. Francis Xavier.
Well, Tuffy, I think you're 0 for 2 this afternoon. You missed that 1st down call by 3 inches.
Well, as I said, I wasn't perfect, you know.
We could put Bob Hayes on the other headset if you'd like. And
listen, he is perfect. Everyone thinks in Halifax that he walks on water. They think that Bob Hayes does that. He's been the athletic director here for years. I came here in 1967 and played St. Mary's University over on this field over here, and it was a heck of a game. He had a kid named Turek playing quarterback from Hamilton, but we won. But Waterloo Lutheran at that time won, and Hayes treated me very well before the game.
he remembers 67 a little better than 73, I think. Anyway, it's funny how that can happen, even though one date is 6 years after the other. Our next Canadian Intercollegiate Football telecast from Ottawa, the GGs, on the 26th of October. We hope you can join us for that one, as we look again at Jim Clark's crew from the University of Ottawa, trying very hard to improve itself in the standings in the Ontario-Quebec Conference. And we hope wherever you are joining us today that you can look in on us regularly when we have CIAU football here on TSN.
There's 44 seconds to play in the opening half. And And the X-Men trying desperately to get out of their shadow of their goalpost. That was Gorgachuk.
We can see that play there. Right here we are. What the back runs into the quarterback looking. They knock the quarterback down. If he doesn't knock the quarterback down, there's a pretty decent hole there. He's probably going to come close to getting the first down, but that's probably the hardest the quarterback's been hit today.
Well, quarterbacks usually have more problem with defensive linemen than members of their own staff and their own backfield.
That was his own backfield man there. Laid a pretty good lick on him. No, the execution there was not as good, and I'm sure Coach Bullock will probably question that. Somebody called timeout again. That probably was St. Mary's this time, I hope.
They just got your message a little bit late, I suppose.
I'm not sure. You sure that St. Francis Xavier called timeout a while ago, or are you guys pulling something on me here?
Regardless, we have another timeout right now on 3rd down facing the St. Francis X-Men. And they are deep in their own zone at the 15-yard line. Now, St. Mary's has a chance to get a couple of points here before this first half ends.
That's right. I knew I was going to take some abuse when it comes to Halifax. I always have. But I didn't realize that they were going to get the crew that I work with on me right away. I don't know what they've done to bribe you guys to do that. But
you're just a legend out here, Tuffy, from your many trips. Everybody was anxious to your arrival, about your arrival in Halifax. Jadron Milanovic gets a good bounce as far as the X-Men are concerned, but St. Mary's a good return from Mike O'Brien, who gets to the 35-yard line and across. So, with 30 seconds on the clock, the Huskies have a chance to go in and get some points here. They'll have to call the right plays and move it quickly. Flag is down, however. See how that affects things for the Huskies in particular.
Well, I don't know what they called. Did anyone catch what they called there? Oh, that same guy he called pushing from the rear again. No, I don't know if it's the same guy or not. I just threw that out kind of facetious.
No, I think that one was legitimate. Sets the Huskies back 10 more yards, and they have a first down now inside the 50. O'Brien looking long. And he has his man, touchdown. Matt Graham. How about that? Last play, or second from last play of the opening half. Matt Graham gets the first touchdown of the afternoon. St. Mary's Huskies take the lead for the first time.
You see it here. Just a straight drop back pass, and O'Brien lays the ball out there high and on the outside shoulder, the outside between the offensive man, and the sideline. And let the man run under the ball. That's a great throw, and it cannot be intercepted. That's a touchdown. That's an excellent throw there by O'Brien, an excellent catch. You throw the ball there, you don't get it intercepted. The worst you can come up with is 2nd down and 10. You threw the ball towards the sideline, throw it up there high, and make him catch it over his outside shoulder.
John Northfield was covering on the play, but Matt Graham comes up with a touchdown, and he's still celebrating on the sideline.
At 15 seconds left, you know, we can see maybe a lot of offense here in the last 15 seconds. I've seen that happen here occasionally in the CFL the last 2 or 3 weeks, where teams will score 2 touchdowns in 37 seconds.
So it's 8-4 now for the St. Mary's Huskies, and the game following according to the pattern that Larry Utek talked about in the pregame show, where his team has the ability to build up just a little bit of an advantage through the half or 3 quarters. And the question has always been whether or not they could sustain it all the way for 60 minutes. So far, they haven't been able to, but the game is still young, and we will see what happens on this day in Halifax.
Larry O'Brien, 2 for 6, a 43-yard touchdown pass to Matt Graham, his biggest play of the afternoon. And O'Brien has accumulated 54 yards passing so far. 1 touchdown. And on the kickoff, the X-Men, Gorgachuk, has some problems getting a handle on that football. Jim Fitzsimmons led the tacklers upfield for St. Mary's.
You just saw Larry Utek in the picture just a moment ago. Tuffy, when he played for you, he was a very, very intense, hard-hitting defensive back at Laurier. he's the same kind of way as a coach. He's a very intense competitor.
Yeah, he was always a strong competitor, kind of quiet, wasn't a guy that was a yak-yacker, but he could probably still be playing in the CFL today if he hadn't got the neck injury, because he's not that old, and he probably would still have the ability and the talent to do it.
What a hit on Dempsey there.
Jim Chenzi, the tackle that time on Dempsey.
If we could see that, here we are seeing it again. Watch, Chenzi comes up, he hits him, drives through him. See, most time tackler would tackle an individual and then go down to his knees and let him fall on him. But Chenzi went through the man, hit him, kept his feet on him on drive, and lifted and drove him back. Now, ball carriers do not like that kind of punishment.
This should be the last play of the opening half. Exman facing 2nd down and 7. And a big hole opens up. But it should be the last play of the opening half, so the X-Men will really not benefit from that. J.F. Russo, the tackle, along with Dave Thompson. So the St. Mary's Huskies come up with a late touchdown in the opening half and take the lead 8-4 into the dressing room. A little surprising in some ways. We'll get to our halftime activities right after this.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium in Halifax. I'm Peter Watts. It is halftime in this Canadian Intercollegiate Football game between the St. Mary's Huskies and the St. Francis Xavier X-Men. And so far, the game has belonged at midfield. Nobody's really taken control of it so far. It is an 8-4 ball game in favor of the Huskies, thanks to a late touchdown pass. The pass coming from quarterback Terry O'Brien, who is our first guest in this halftime show. Terry's down on the field. And Terry, your thoughts on the way the first half developed?
Well, Peter, I think it's been going kind of slow right now. Each team came out a little bit tentative, I think. We're both worked up about this game. As you know, we haven't started off too well. The season for us has been kind of dismal. We're a lot better football team than that. I think when we came out, we were a little tentative, just like St. X, and that's why things were slow.
You did have one big play, the 43-yard touchdown pass late in the first half. Tell us how that play developed.
Well, we went on the sidelines, and we knew that they were going man-to-man on the backside. So what we were doing, we decided, I talked to my wideout, Matt Graham, and we decided we'd run a post corner on him to the backside. I'd roll out to the right and throw back to the left. And he ran a good pattern and opened it up nice for me.
And the ball was well delivered.
Yeah, thank you. We've been working on that pattern all week, so it should have worked.
You used Steve Jeremy quite effectively as a running back, particularly in the first quarter. Was that something you thought you could do against the X-Men?
Yes, that's exactly what we thought we could do, and I think we're still capable of running against him. He's been running the ball great all week, and he ran the ball great last game. But I got injured, and things didn't work out too well. But I think we're still capable of running against him, and he's going to do a good job for us today.
Well, you threw the ball very well with the wind in the second quarter. I think things were a little different, though, in the first quarter. That's a pretty gusty wind, and even though you should be used to it, you seem to have a few problems.
Yeah, it was giving me a problem. Mentally, I wasn't throwing the ball well. Like, you have to really concentrate when you're throwing the ball into the wind. I don't think I was concentrating enough. I'm going to think about that at halftime, and hopefully come throwing the ball. I got more confidence. You need confidence when you're throwing the ball. And second half will be different, I think.
What do you think you have to do in this second half now to sustain this drive that you seem to have gotten going a little bit in the second quarter?
Well, what we have to do is we got to go in and stay calm. The problem with a young team is they get up for a touchdown and they forget about the game. I know I did that myself last year and even at times this year. I'm going to try and just keep the guys really calm, and when we come out in the second half, you know, get back to the game plan, and hopefully things will open up. I think they will.
Terry, this is Tuffy Knight. On that pass that you threw before you threw the touchdown pass, the one on the right side I think was open. You threw the ball extremely well. The receiver just dropped the pass, but was that the same play?
No, Mr. Knight. That was a play-action pass. Usually we run an out on that play, but in a huddle I decided, since it was late towards the half, I figured we had to go for it, so I noticed the man was playing him pretty tight, which is a mistake to do on Anthony Thomas, who runs a very fast 40 time. We did the play-action pass. I play-action to Steve Jeremy, and he just flew him down the right-hand side.
Yeah, he was wide open, and the pass was there. It hit him on the hands, and I thought it was a catchable football. I thought you threw it extremely well.
Thank you. Thank you.
In throwing the ball against the wind, I think you're right. I think it's just psychologically. You have to just deliver the ball a little bit harder and concentrate, and because it's usually easier to throw it against than it is with the wind.
Right, it is. Usually, last week I was throwing the ball a lot better into the wind. Hopefully it'll work out in the second half, and I'll be able to throw a lot better.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight.
Terry, thank you for being with us at halftime. The best of luck in the second half, and we hope you can. The Huskies offense can keep itself rolling along very well in this second half here at Husky Stadium.
Okay, thank you.
Terry O'Brien, quarterback of the St. Mary's Huskies, 8-4. Huskies leading St. Francis Xavier at halftime. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Husky Stadium in Halifax. I'm Peter Watts. Happy to welcome the athletic director of St. Mary's University, Bob Hayes. Bob, we were talking a little bit during the break about this football team of yours. They are in the lead, but as you say, you've seen it all before.
Yes, well, we've been in the lead before this year, and of course everyone's been in the lead one time or another, including Tuffy Knight. But this team has been in the lead and always had a chance to win. And for Larry Utek, our coach, Peter, who is, I think, going to be one of the best ones to come along in intercollegiate football in some time, it's been very disappointing for him.
Larry told me before the game started that the problems have erupted in the fourth quarter because his team doesn't seem able to sustain itself for 60 minutes.
Well, I don't know if that's something always happens. You know, it's like being married, I suppose. Something always happens, and it can't always be perfect. But I think the marriage of Larry Utek and St. Mary's University is going to come out to be a very good marriage. And he's one of the young coaches in intercollegiate sport who has a consideration for the players, a sort of a feeling for the game and the people who play the game. So I'm very happy he's here. I'm not happy that we're 0-4, but we might be 1-4 after today.
How did you happen to wind up bringing UTEC to St. Mary's?
Well, we, back in the days when Tuffy Knight didn't get everyone from his part of the country, Larry Utek's sister, Ann Utek, who is now an almost lawyer going to school at the University of New Brunswick, came to St. Mary's, and Larry was down in the States and had a bad experience with Tuffy. Tuffy was his coach for years. So anyway, we made contact through our coach at the time, Al Keith, and Al thought he was a fine fellow, and so does Tuffy. So we came to the conclusion that Larry Utek would be a good guy for St. Mary's, and St. Mary's would be good for Larry Utek, and we don't pay much money, so we got Larry Utek coaching for us, and I'm very happy with it.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the Atlantic Bowl, which I know is close to your heart. You've been here long enough to have had a key role in its development. Your thoughts now on the fact that this year it's going to count for something over and above the Atlantic University Championship?
Well, this is the first year back after a one-year abstinence from the National Football playoffs, and I think it'll count for something. I think that the 4 teams we have in our league are comparable to most of the competition in Canadian universities. Now, there's exceptional teams in a 14-team league like the Ontario League, but from year to year, we have proven by winning the college championship that we can come up with nationally competitive teams. Certainly Acadia has done it, and we've done it, and over the last decade, we have probably won the thing more than any other conference for the few teams that we have down here.
When you speak of the few teams, is there any sign that football programs might be restored again at some of the universities that have dropped it in the last 3 or 4 years?
Peter, you hear that, and I don't know. They always say about the expense. They never say about the expense of a hockey team. I'm an athletic director. I know how much it costs to run a football team, a hockey team, basketball team, and the rest of it. And anyone who says a football team because of the economic factor is the reason to drop it are not looking at reality. It's usually because there's not enough interest, there's too much opposition within a certain interest group, university, public, whatever.
But you know that marketing is a big part of the CIAU now, and the work that the CIAU is trying to do, and certainly football is one sport that you can market, particularly in the Maritimes.
Football is one sport. If you've got a kid and he's a little too slow, a little too fat, a little too this, a little too that, a guy like Tuffy Knight or Bob Hayes can end up playing football because there's a place for you in football, because it takes so many skills and a lot of people involved, and the end result, unless you go and the professional route is that you got the same experience as a highly skilled, multi-skilled kid. So football is a game that can accommodate a lot of different falsehoods, fatness, whatever you want to overcome. Football's got a place for you if you want to play a sport.
Do you get along with Tuffy Knight?
Do now.
And on that note, Bob Hayes, thank you very much for being with us here. Bob Hayes, the athletic director at St. Mary's University. The score at halftime is the St. Mary's Huskies 8 and the St. Francis Xavier X-Men 4. And we're back with highlights from the first half in just a moment. Score at halftime is the St. Mary's Huskies 8 and the St. Francis Xavier X-Men 4. I'm Peter Watts along with Tuffy Knight. Tuffy, a little hard to find any really strong offensive highlights to show in the first half, at least until that last minute or so when we saw the one big touchdown.
Well, I think both teams played strong defense, but I think there was some good offensive plays in the half. And, of course, the last play when St. Mary scored a touchdown was an outstanding offensive play, but there was a couple other plays, another pass play which we'll see, and also a punt return, which partially was nullified. Here's the punt return coming up here. It's an outstanding run by St. Francis Xavier, running back there. The key is Dempsey. He steps, McIver, I think he steps inside and he steps back outside there and almost breaks it down the sideline. He's caught from behind here. Watch, he's caught right there from behind by the St. Mary's player there. But it's nullified because of the play.
And as you say, there was a clipping call that brought the play back about 30 yards and didn't give St. Francis Xavier quite the field position they would have liked. What else have you got for us now?
Well, we have the pass play here coming up here where the quarterback, if you watch a quarterback's feet, you always tell where the quarterback throws the ball well if you look at his feet. He plants the back foot, delivers, and throws off the front foot, and he throws the ball with a lot of authority. The receiver comes up, catches the ball, comes down inbounds, which was very tough because he was right on the sideline. But the quarterback delivered the ball extremely well.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the next play we will see is the touchdown. Great pass.
Yeah, this is a great pass here by O'Brien, the quarterback, Terry O'Brien. He takes the ball. He gets back into the pocket very quick here. Stops, plants, and you have trouble seeing feet, but he throws the ball up, gets it up high and lofts it up, and lets the wind help him there. Take the ball to the sideline. And we'll see, I guess, another angle of it coming up here, and you'll see that he throws the ball over the outside shoulder, which makes it literally impossible to intercept, especially if the man is covering the inside, and most defensive backs will cover the inside.
Good block by Durston, number 33, to set up that play and protect O'Brien long enough for him to deliver the ball.
It's an outstanding catch because he catches the ball looking over top of his shoulder there.
Okay, now what do you expect in the second half, very quickly?
Well, if I was St. Mary's, I think they have to probably throw the ball a little more, and I think O'Brien has a confidence. Right now, I think there's only one problem. If I was O'Brien, I'd tell the defense, go out there and don't let them score.
Okay, let's see what happens. Coming up the second half of today's game, St. Mary's leading St. Francis Xavier by a score of 8-4. Stand by for third quarter action in a moment.
The new Apple IIc. With over 10,000 programs, it can do almost anything for anyone. And absolutely anyone can take it home for under $2,000. The Apple IIc.
Both teams back on the field for the start of the third quarter of this game between the St. Mary's Huskies and the St. Francis Xavier X-Men. And you look now at this week's Canadian Intercollegiate Football rankings. Number one, still the Calgary Dinosaurs. Peter Cannellan's team had last week off, but hangs on to the number one spot. The McMaster Marauders are playing this week against York. That's a battle for first place in the Ontario Universities Athletic Association. That will be in McMaster, and that will be a great football game to see. Bishop's Gators, leaders of the Ontario-Quebec Conference, are third, followed by York. The Yeomen playing great football under Frank Cosentino. Alberta is fifth, Western is sixth, Acadia is seventh, McGill eighth, ninth place is Guelph. And the Mount Allison team is in 10th position, their first week in the rankings so far this season. And, of course, on the October 20th weekend, the great football game will be that battle between Calgary and the University of Alberta Golden Bears in Edmonton. And that will be a showdown for first place in the Canada West Intercollegiate standings. Ready now for the second half kickoff. And here's John Wells.
Jadron Milanovic gets it underway here at Husky Stadium, and it's taken by Matt Graham, 13. Graham for the Huskies out to the 30-yard line and into a maze of tacklers right there. Graham, of course, that first half touchdown in the dying seconds of the first half. Great pass by Terry O'Brien to Graham to give the Huskies an 8-4 lead as we begin the second half here in Halifax. Offensively for the Huskies, it's O'Brien at quarterback. The running backs are Steve Jeremy and John Lucan. Outside receivers, Randy McQuaig and Matt Graham. Along the offensive line at center, Shane Doyle. The guards are Pazzaretti and Godet. The tackles, Duguay and Watson. First down, Huskies from their 31. Jeremiah, or DiGiacchino, I should say.
Yeah, he's only carried the ball twice today, but both times he's done extremely well. I think he's not running today because Coach Utek knew we had trouble with these names, so he didn't want us to have to use it all.
Wanted to let us warm up a little bit.
But that was a 9-yard pickup on a straight power play, and outstanding job. If they can control the ball like this, they'll have a good chance of winning this football game.
It's second down and 1 for the Huskies, and Terry O'Brien now. Fumble. And who comes up with the football? Fumble on the exchange between O'Brien and DiGiacchino, and the X-Men come up with a big turnover here. St. Francis quickly taking advantage of a fumbled exchange in the Huskies' backfield.
On that there, I don't know if we could see it or not, but DiGiacchino did not have a very good pocket. Here we are right here. Let's see. He doesn't have a very good pocket. See, he turned and reached for the football instead of just hitting the hole and let the quarterback give the ball to him. I think he saw the linebacker getting ready to blitz from St. Francis Xavier, and he wanted to hurry up and get a hold of the ball, and he fumbled the football. Very crucial play right there.
So from the 43-yard line, it's a first down, St. Francis, and good running room inside. Tom Daly making the tackle. Gorgichuk, the running back, number 29. And he's very close to a first down.
That's the same play they ended the first half with. He did exactly the same play, ran just over the right guard, picked up good yardage to end the second half, or in the first half, and they came right back with the same play starting the second half.
And we'll have a measurement here to find out exactly how far the X-Men have to go, or if indeed they do have the first down. They come up just a little bit short. You're 3 or 4 inches. Gorgichuk 5 carries for 27 yards. It'll be second down and 1.
This is a crucial play, John, for St. Mary's. They have to stop him here because, like I said, they think they can win, but if St. Francis Xavier scores here, it could kind of demoralize them a little bit.
Billy Ray Somerville in his second Canadian college start at quarterback, facing second down, actually less than a yard to go, and inside the 35-yard line of the Huskies. Somerville keeps himself. He'll have the first down.
Some first half statistics. Terry O'Brien was 2 completions in 5 attempts for 48 yards. Of course, one of those completions, the 43-yard touchdown. Scott Anderson, 0 for 1 in passing. And, of course, he is the punter. He tried to pass off that punt attempt, actually. Billy Ray Somerville, 2 of 7 for 25 yards in the first half, and we'll get to some more statistics in a moment.
It's first down for the X-Men, just outside the Huskies' 30-yard line.
That's our Jimmy.
Gorgichuk. And he was met by Jim Chenzi, number 7 for the Huskies. A gain of 5.
That was a trap play, I think, there, John. I think St. Mary's is keying on Dempsey a little bit, and they're starting to give the ball to Gorsuchuk, and when they do that, he's had a lot of successes today.
Second and 5, X-Men at the 25 of St. Mary's. Somerville back quickly to throw, far side of the field. He has his man, Don Dempsey, and Dempsey breaks 1 tackle. He's all the way down to the 10-yard line.
What an outstanding block on that play. by number 32, I believe it was, St. Pierre, the flanker.
I think this is what Dempsey does best. You give him a little room to operate, and he's more effective. Here we are. It's just a little flare pass. He comes out of the backfield. It's just a very short pass, probably a 5-yard pass gain. But once he gets the ball, watch this. There's good ball. Breaks a tackle there. Outmaneuvers there, come down, and that's his strong point right there is when he gets in the open field there where he got room to maneuver a little.
So the X-Men are first down, goal to go just inside the 10-yard line.
There's a fumble there. I don't know who has the ball, but St. Francis Xavier got it back. St. Mary's need to break right there.
And gained 3 yards on the play. That's not a bad fumble.
No, he bobbled the snap. Watch the snap. He pulls away from the center a little bit. This is the pass play, I think, that we saw a minute ago. Watch, yes, a little flare. See, out in the flats, not a very big game, but watch Dempsey after he catches the ball there. Here's an outstanding block there. Oh, that's tough on you. That jars your teeth there. You go to the dentist to get some filling tomorrow.
It's second and goal to go. X-Men at the 7-yard line. Somerville finds a big hole and carries down to the 1-yard line.
Boy, there was some contact on that play.
Looked like it opened right up for him, but it closed rather quickly. He stopped just short of a...
Here we are. They got great pressure. St. Mary's has great pressure on him here. He ducks under it right there and breaks the thing up the middle and goes down to the 1-yard line. This is 3rd and 1. This is crucial here.
Well, 3rd and 1 on the 1. Early in the second half, 10 minutes, 48 seconds to play in quarter number 3. Somerville on the afternoon passing 3 for 8, 41 yards.
This is difficult. This is tough on a coach's nerves here, both coaches.
And touchdown for Don Dempsey.
Except there's a flag on the play, Peter. I guess St. Mary's was offside.
It seems to be the initial indication. There it is from referee Phil Lasseline. And the touchdown will stand. So the X-Men move in front once more. It's 10-8 in favor of St. Francis, leading St. Mary's. Milanovic, number 5, looks to add one more, and he's right on target. So 11-8 as the X-Men take advantage of a quick turnover in the early moments of quarter number 3 and take the lead on St. Mary's Huskies once more.
It's 11-8 for St. Francis Xavier over St. Mary's. The X-Men just getting that touchdown. Mr. Dempsey had 17 carries, make that 12 carries for 46 yards in the first half, and certainly Tuffy, we saw him as a pass receiver on that last play. That may be one thing they'll try to do differently in the second half.
Well, if they could get him out in the open and give him a chance to maneuver a little bit, use his athletic ability in that way, he'll have some success today out there.
Mike O'Brien on the kickoff gets out to the 35-yard line almost.
Dempsey, to this point in the game, has 13 carries for 47 yards and 1 touchdown, and so certainly the Huskies have done a much better job against him than they did in the first game between these two teams down in Antigonish on the 29th of September when Dempsey rushed for 181 yards, a record 31 carries. At least that's the most by a running back this year in Canadian intercollegiate football, and certainly he is the leading rusher in the conference right now.
First down for the Huskies. They begin at their own 34-yard line. O'Brien will throw. He's hit as he tried to get it away. And over to jump on it quickly was Steve Jeremy, but I think they'll rule it as an incomplete pass.
I think it was an incomplete pass. I'm not sure they're going to call it. Here we are. We'll see if his arm starts forward here. There's a little bit of contact. It wasn't smooth there, the fake.
Blindside hit.
Yeah, I think that would be an incomplete pass. They didn't rule it as an incomplete pass. I believe his arm was starting forward. The guy had him in his grasp, but his arm was definitely started forward.
Anyway, Jeremy jumped on it, so
yes.
It'll be second down regardless. Second down, and I think 12 yards to go.
And it was a defender who was shaken up. Darrell Upshaw was shaken up on that play. Number 78 appears to be a wrist injury.
No, I can see that.
Dislocated finger?
Yes, that's a dislocated finger, Peter. I can see that from here. Now,
It hurts.
back in the old days when you didn't have the trainer, the coach would jump in there like Bob Hayes and stomp on it and put it right back in place.
We shouldn't be laughing. Upshaw in some pain on the sidelines, but it doesn't appear to be too serious. All right, Jeremy trying the far side, and he's going to run out of room over there. Jeremy, a gain of a couple, but he'll come up well short of a first down.
Well, that play might have worked if they'd been able to get one of those big linemen out in front leading the way a little bit more. He picked up about 4 yards on the play. Tuffy, they've tried that play a couple of times. That time, as you mentioned, they didn't get the tackle out in front to lead the play.
No, but that play actually picked up, I think it was, they were 2nd and 12, so it's ended up about 2nd and 6, so it picked up 5 or 6 yards on that play, and that's not a bad play. You can get 6 yards on a play, you'll run it again. But the tackle didn't get out in front very well.
Scott Anderson on 3rd down. John McIver for the X-Men, and really not much room for him to get away. He's to the 42-yard line, and maybe a return of 2 yards is all.
Mr. Jeremy with 16 carries for 76 yards so far for St. Mary's as you look at John McIver coming off the field.
I think one of the things that you have to respect Dempsey about is his durability. You know, you carry the ball 31 times in the game or even 25 times in the game, you got to be fairly durable to be able to do that because he's not very big, 178 pounds, so he's a durable type little guy, you know.
St. Francis first down at their own 40.
I see the doctor down there now working on Darrell Upshaw, the defensive end for St. Francis Xavier. If he can get that finger pulled back into place there without taking him to the hospital, we may see him back into the game.
John Dempsey, a gain of 8.5 yards out to the 50-yard line. That last play for the X-Men. St. Francis with a record of 2-2 coming into this game. And the St. Mary's Huskies are 0-4, still looking for their first win of 1984. 2nd down, 1.5 yards for St. Francis.
Sometimes the old coach used to put those fingers back in place, John, was you'd kind of look at it, grab a hold of the finger with the kid, you know, and then just turn around and start to walk away and forget to let go of his finger. Sometimes they just pop right back in place, and I used to do that occasionally, you know, and the kid would kind of look at me big-eyed, but when it popped back in place, you know, I couldn't look him in the eye after that. But
I didn't know you were a medical man.
I used to do. You have to when you first start out in the old days of coaching, you had to do all that kind of stuff. I think they got it back in place there. That doctor did that, but he'll send him a bill for $35. I used to do it for nothing.
Gorgachuk had the first down for the X-Men, and they're out across their own 50-yard line at the 53 right now with a first down. Billy Ray Somerville has gone all the way at quarterback. And that's Dempsey once more. Dempsey close once more to the first down. He does have it, a first down for Dempsey and St. Francis, so they continue to march the ball along the ground and hold on to a 3-point lead on St. Mary's. First down for St. Francis inside St. Mary's territory now at the 45.
St. Francis Xavier is starting to move the ball in St. Mary's a little bit. I think they're trapping him a little bit now, and they're starting to move it.
Dempsey once more. Check that. It's Bruce Loney. And Loney grabs 5. J.F. Russo, the tackle for St. Mary's. Russo in his 4th year from Montreal. Another player being attended to on the sidelines. But it's up to figure out who he might be with his jersey off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see the number before they pulled his jersey off there. Dempsey kind of looked like he hurt his foot a little bit while ago on a play before that, and they took him out for a play, but he's already back in there.
2nd down and 5. X-Men at the 40-yard line of St. Mary's. Somerville over the middle, intending that one for Joe Haroof. Big tight end, he couldn't come down with it. Tom Daly was covering for the Huskies. It'll be 3rd and 5.
This is a real difficult pass. Watch. He fakes, good fake, lays the ball on his hip there, excellent fake. Comes out here, but he doesn't get his shoulders squared up here, see? And it's very difficult to run to the left and throw the ball the right way. He doesn't get anything on his ball because he doesn't get himself squared up very well. And the ball flutters, almost intercepted, you know, because it's a difficult pass. You've got to get your shoulders squared up there and deliver the football. And that's the toughest pass in the game right there, run left and throw the ball to your right-handed quarterback.
Thrown into a lot of traffic there as well. Malarvik up to the 50-yard line to get that one away. Taken by Dale McClare. McClare is snowed under at the 15. Malarvik, 6 punts for a 33-yard average. His longest, 48.
I thought St. Francis Xavier was lucky not to be called for no yards on that play.
Peter, I was going to say that, but every time I do, John gives me a shot in the chops here because he thinks I'm picking on those poor officials down there.
So the score with 5:10 to go in the 3rd quarter is the St. Francis Xavier X-Men 11 and the St. Mary's Huskies 8.
Stadium in Halifax. Huskies 1st down and 10 to go. And straight up the middle. Jeremy, number 23 I should say, Steve Jeremy, by far the busiest of the St. Mary Husky backfielders in Halifax today.
The Huskies are going to get some more yards too, because I think there was a rough play call coming up here against the X-Men. They were penalized for 153 yards in that last game between these two teams in Antigonish on the 29th of September. And that's a big mark-off as it gets the ball out to the 37-yard line. The Huskies now with some field position and a 1st down.
Well, that's a big break. It got them out of the shadows of the goalpost, you know. They've been down there pretty much there most of this half.
3rd penalty for the X-Men now. They've lost 30 yards so far. They're playing a little bit cleaner football than they were 2 weeks ago.
And flags go down again. A bit of a mix-up in there. O'Brien was standing by himself as everybody else moved. And O'Brien ends up on the turf.
He takes a heck of a shot. That's terrible because St. Mary's line, they must have either the center forgot to snap, which is highly likely, and the whole line left. And the center doesn't snap the ball up about 2 counts late after St. Effects had come in, and that guy laid a helmet in the back of O'Brien there, and that's not good. If I see him, I think you got to get on those offensive linemen or the center, probably that center a little bit. If he's going to bring that ball up late, I'm going to hand it back to him.
Must have been the center's mistake because everybody else must have been right.
That's exactly right. The other 10 guys couldn't have been wrong, or 9 guys couldn't have been all wrong.
Well, it's a procedure call, and it cost St. Mary's 5 yards. It'll be 1st down, 15 to go. Back to the 32-yard line now. They get it right this time. O'Brien looks to the far side, and it's picked up. Taken that time by Paul Martin, and it floated out there. Martin had an easy interception.
But we have another penalty flag on the field.
Matt Graham was the intended receiver, and we'll pick up on that penalty, Peter.
I think it might be holding on St. Mary's.
I think you might be right.
O'Brien did not get that ball out there. Threw a little bit sidearm there, and he did see that they're up in his face very tight there. They hit him just as he delivered the football, and he underthrew. I said if you throw that ball underthrow like that, it's going to get intercepted. You throw the ball, make him catch it over the outside shoulder, or make it go out of bounds. Here it is again. Watch. He gets hit just as he throws the football. Now he doesn't see, it's not over the outside shoulder, it's on the inside shoulder. And you're going to get the ball intercepted when you do that. That's very difficult. That's a tough thing to teach a young quarterback, but I think it's a very key. Plus, looks like St. Mary's getting another penalty here, probably for talking.
Paul Martin was the man who picked off that pass and made the return, and now with the penalty, the football inside the 15-yard line. 14-yard line is where it'll be marked. So another turnover for the Huskies, and it could be that St. Francis Xavier will be able to capitalize on that as well.
I think that was a penalty there on I won't say the number of the individual, but it was a first-year player for St. Mary's who was a little frustrated.
So the X-Men are 1st down inside the 15 of St. Mary's. And picking up more yards. Gorchachuk, number 29. Carried that time for the X-Men.
they're losing their poise now, and this happens to a young team. And I really don't know how you handle that except just very strong discipline. But they're starting to lose their poise, and if they're not careful, they'll be out of the football game here in a short period of time.
I would think Larry Utek is quite capable of enforcing some strong discipline if he puts his mind to it.
Oh, no question about that. But when they're out there on that field, it's tough to shake them, you know. You can shake them when they come to the sidelines, but you can't shake them when they're on the field.
They mark Gorgichuk's gain at 7 yards. This is 2nd and 3 for the X-Men. Inside the 10-yard line, flags are down once more. A fumble recovered by St. Francis. They lost the ball for a second, but they're back on top of it.
It's an illegal procedure penalty against St. Effects. So it's going to be 3rd down and about 3 here. It's going to be 2nd down and about 8. See, oh, bad handoff too. St. Effects was lucky to get the ball back, but their lineman, right tackle, their right guard, moved quite a bit before the ball was snapped.
Penalty is for illegal procedure, declined by St. Mary's. And that's what we've got. 11-8. St. Francis leading St. Mary's. Quarter number 3. It's 3rd down and 3. Malarvik. The field goal is good, and the X-Men add to their total. So on 2 turnovers, the St. Francis X-Men have come up with 10 points. First a fumble, then an interception, setting them up in the 3rd quarter.
Well, you know, St. Mary's should feel very fortunate. You know, they've had 2 turnovers, give St. Francis Xavier the ball in excellent field position, and they're still, with the touchdown, can win the football game, 15-14. So they should feel very fortunate that they're not completely out of the game at this point in time after those 2 costly turnovers.
2 minutes, 51 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. It's 14-8 for the visiting X-Men leading St. Mary's. And it'll be 1st down for the Huskies from the 35-yard line. Terry O'Brien has gone all the way at quarterback. Jeremy. And Jeremy has a 1st down, 5 extra yards to spare. Good run, and Jeremy gets the Huskies all the way out to the 50. And he was stopped by number 50, Alan Tracy.
Okay, this is a form of the option here. Quarterback fakes to the fullback here. We'll see it coming up, I'm sure. And what's the block of there? Pitches. Here's a block of 55. The right guard for St. Mary's, Pazzetti, and he hits the guy, but he doesn't knock him down. Puts a good lick on him. Now Jeremy does a good job there of strong power running right there. Good play, good execution on that play there.
15-yard pickup. It's 1st down and 10. Jeremy once more. This time, maybe 4 yards. Steve Jeremy.
Pazzetti there, the right guard for St. Mary's, he does an outstanding job when he pulls. He comes around that corner. Once he gets turned upfield there, he lays a pretty good lick on you.
Well, they've run that play twice with some success. They ran it in the 1st quarter, we saw, and Pazzetti threw a great block on the outside player, the linebacker on that side, and made the play work, and the same thing happened that time. The other player for St. Mary's was Thomas up there, threw a block as well and got Jeremy open for a couple of yards extra.
This is 2nd and 6. And a big hole for Jeremy once more. He has the 1st down, another extra 5 to spare. Jeremy all the way to the 45-yard line of the X-Men. And he's been running extremely well.
This is the draw play. Watch. Fake like he's going to pass it. Gives it to Jeremy, and he hits the daylight. He's got a lot of daylight there, you know, a lot of daylight. Does a real good job there, and he runs it, cuts it back into play. Outstanding play now. This is a sign of a good football team, good execution.
Jeremy actually made that play work with that little bit of hesitation.
That's
just
right.
Before he found the hole.
Yep, exactly right.
1st and 10 Huskies. And Jeremy gets the call once more. This time there's nowhere to go as Mark McDougall comes up.
Now, on that play there, if Jeremy when he comes that far, you cut it back up. You cut it back up, and you duck your head and get what you can. Watch. He comes up and he keeps stringing it out. Now, right there, he's got to cut it back in there. Even though there's nothing there, you cut it back in there, and you duck your head and get what you can get, see? But that comes with experience because you keep running to the sideline. Eventually, you run out of real estate, and you're not going to gain anything.
Jeremy now is over the 100-yard mark in rushing. 21 carries for 107 yards so far in the ball game for the St. Mary's Huskies.
For Jeremy, a pickup of 1 on that last play. It's 2nd and 9. O'Brien back to throw. Now the pressure comes. O'Brien away from it. And, Will Durston had a chance.
O'Brien brought some extra time there. Dropped back in the pocket. Got some pressure. Watch it. Struck back in the pocket. Good protection. Good protection there. He looks. Then he buys some extra time. Rolls out here. He delivers the ball right on the button. This has got to be caught. Now, he didn't throw, his feet wasn't very good there, but the ball there has got to be caught. That ball was right in there. You got to catch those kind if you're going to win
Will Durston has been around for 4 years. A play he'd rather forget, I'm sure. It would have gone for a first down. Still, the Huskies stay in it. Jerry Foster lines up for a long field goal and comes up well short. On the return. Good return for the X-Men.
This is an obvious clip on this play here. Official was right on top of it.
McIver seems to be in some pain.
Jim Melvin, I think the man will be called for clipping on the play. You're right, Tuffy. It was obvious. It happened right in front of the official.
Here's the instant replay. The field goal is short. That's a pretty long field goal, 52 yards, I think. And watch, the clip is right down here in the right-hand corner. He stops there. There's the clip right there. See, that's an obvious clip there. You know, about anybody could have called that. I think a blind man could have called that one there. That's a very obvious clip there. But you know what the funny part is? The guy from St. Francis Xavier, the kid, said, I didn't hardly touch him. He threw his hands up in the air and wondered what the official was doing, calling the penalty.
I thought that was just one of those gentle pushes in the back that you were referring to in the first quarter.
No, you referred to it as a kiss earlier.
I thought it was a kiss, except that would snap the head, the St. Mary's player's head kind of snapped. So that's a little more than a kiss.
Well, it was also at the point of attack, too, not away from the play. So.
Right. That had some effect on the play because otherwise he makes the play. He makes the tackle on the play there.
Have you noticed anything different that St. Francis Xavier has been able to do in this third quarter that they weren't able to do in the first half?
Well, I think the big thing that the different things they're doing is they're running their fullback. When St. Mary's is keying on Dempsey, they're running their fullback, Gorski and Gorsuchuk. And whenever you key one player a little bit and they run the other player, they're having some success.
14-8 is the score. Just 5 seconds remain in quarter number 3. This should be the last play as the X-Men line up with a first down from their 10-yard line. Dempsey, and he was met by Kenzie from St. Mary's Huskies. That's it for the third quarter here at the Husky Stadium in Halifax. And we've still got a ball game. It's 6 points separating the X-Men and the Huskies.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium in Halifax. We're ready to start the fourth quarter. I'm Peter Watts with John Wells and Tuffy Knight. Mr. Dempsey of St. Francis Xavier, 18 carries now for 80 yards.
He's starting to pick up a little bit here. This is a quick hitter. This is probably the quickest he's hit in there, and the hole opened up very quick. It's just a straight, direct handoff with power play blocking, and maybe St. Francis Xavier's offensive line is starting to wear St. Mary's down just a little bit because that play there was a well-executed play, good timing, good execution.
Billy Ray Somerville at quarterback faces second down and 3 yards to go. Somerville will put it up. Oh, no one was near that one. Closest receiver over there was Bill McIntyre. He needed about 2 feet
on
his stature to catch that one.
The quarterback might have thrown before he got set, or the wide receiver ran the wrong pattern because it looked like the wide receiver was running a slant in, and the quarterback McIntyre threw the ball. He thought it looked like he was going to throw it out or something. About 9 feet over his head. It had to be something going outside.
Malarvich That's Dale McClare for the Huskies. Good return for McClare as he crosses midfield and gets inside the 45-yard line of the X-Men.
He's a very tough runner, John. Looked like he was stopped there for no gain, and you don't grab a hold of him by the jersey or arm and bring him down. You got to lay it on him, and here it is again. You watch this. He looked like he stopped there. He starts to run to the sideline, and he cuts it upfield here. Comes up and catches the ball nice. I like this. Come up and catch the ball on the fly. Here he is right here. Watch, he breaks the tackle. Right there, 1, 2, 3. See, that's just power running there. That's good power strength right there.
Actually, he was slowed down by one of his own men, Dunthorne, in there. This is Jeremy to the outside. He has a first down. Jeremy.
Well, there's your friend Pazzaretti again. Tuffy leading the play and doing a good job. He made that first down possible by the block he threw.
Well, it's the same play. They kind of an ox play. Pazzaretti gets out there in front, and Jeremy cuts it back this time. Excellent job. And he looks like about, they got about 9 yards and 30 inches, I would think there. This is a good time to throw the long pass if you're a big gambler.
You'd be gambling here, would you?
No,
Tuffy?
I'm not a gambler.
You're not a gambler.
I only bet on sure things.
There's a sure thing.
Yeah, the quarterbacks think you got the first down, yeah. But you could have wasted that. Actually, you could have gone, if a lot of coaches do that, go for the first down and figure I'll pick up the third down or the first down on the next play. But if the quarterback gets sacked, then you're over there kind of kicking yourself for pulling such a dumb play. Coach Utek played it, cautious and safe and got his first down, which I think he's smart in doing because he's in a position now you can run the ball 3 times at him.
I wonder who taught him everything he knows.
Oh, I can tell you that too.
Jeremy.
It was your defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but I coordinated the defensive coordinator. Don't ever forget that. And I want to say it publicly that Bob Hayes and I are very, very good friends. He always treated me extremely well when I come to Halifax, and I always treated him very poorly when he came to Waterloo, so it balanced out.
Calvin Scott goes in, number 32. And Jeremy comes out for a bit of a rest. Jeremy picked up 5 yards in the last play. It'll be 2nd and 5. Huskies approaching the 25-yard line of the X-Men.
Big play right here. They've got to get 4 yards on this play.
O'Brien.
Run the ball.
And O'Brien has the first down. He looked like he was going to throw. He eluded a couple of tacklers, one in particular, and came up with a first down.
Well, it was open there. I could see the opening, and I just wondered whether he was going to see it because the receivers were all well covered. Here it is. The receivers are all well covered. It's open. See, down that sideline. He waited a little bit too long, could have ran a little quicker. Does a good job here running. He's a pretty good running quarterback.
Kevin Rion, number 72, would like to have another shot at the quarterback.
Yeah, he had him lined
get
up.
To the outside.
He had him lined up.
1st and 10 Huskies. A little enthusiasm here in Halifax. Calvin Scott.
Now that time Scott did what you were talking about a little bit earlier in the ball game, Tuffy, when Jeremy didn't turn the ball inside and upfield to get whatever he could. That time the outside was sealed off, and Scott did exactly that. He turned upfield and took what little yardage there was available.
Right, he got about 2 yards on the play. That's the same play they've been running, only this time they ran it to the left. And when you run it to the left, they don't have Palisade pulling, and they don't run it quite as well to the left as they do to the right. Palisade, when he gets out there, he kind of clears a path. He knocks some people down, and they don't run it quite as well to the left. A lot of teams are like that. They don't maybe run as well to the left as they do their right.
Huskies have called a timeout. O'Brien on the sidelines, getting some instructions from Coach Larry Utek. So, big sequence coming up, or continuing, I should say, for St. Mary's. They're still in the ball game. They trail by 6 and threaten to come up with points here.
Back at Husky Stadium in Halifax, I'm Peter Watts with John Wells and Tuffy Knight. We have 11 minutes and 32 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. It's St. Francis Xavier leading St. Mary's 14-8.
Here's the play coming to the left, see, but like I said, the guard doesn't get out there very well and steal it. Scott is carrying the ball that time, and he did a good job of cutting it inside and getting 2 yards on the play.
So that makes it 2nd and 8 Huskies. O'Brien looks to the end zone. Has his man. Oh! Tony Thomas. Second key drop pass of the day for the Huskies. Thomas had a touchdown and couldn't hang on.
Did a good job of screening his defensive back off here. Watch, he goes down to the inside. He's a big, tall kid, much taller than the defensive back, and he screens the defensive back off here. And O'Brien delivers the ball extremely well. What? He's got him screened off here. See, the defensive back is behind him here. Oh, we didn't get a chance to see that. And the ball hits him right in the chest. I don't know how he could have missed that one, but he almost caught it even on his way down. Here's another angle from it. And see if we can see the ball hit him as he screens the man off. See, he's got him behind him. The defensive back is behind him. Now he comes up and puts a pretty good lick on him.
While we were in replay, Jerry Foster counted 3 more for the Huskies, so they come away with 3 and close the gap. 14-11. Visiting Exmon still in control, but the Huskies come up with 3. And there's still lots of time left. 11 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in quarter number 4.
That was a good sustained drive for St. Mary's. It's a shame that they didn't get the touchdown because it was a well-executed play, and Tony Thomas just missed it, you know, and that happens sometimes. You just have trouble hanging on to the football.
Exmon, first down, and they have 5 yards in the play. Don Dempsey, 23, ball carrier.
This is a crucial series also for St. Francis Xavier because St. Mary's is kind of pumped up right now, you know, and if they can hold them on this series and get the ball, it could be a little scary. So Coach Bullock, you know, hopes that offense can get the ball and sustain a little bit of a drive here.
2nd down and 5, facing Billy Ray Somerville and St. Francis. Dempsey, the ball carrier. Dempsey stopped short of a first down. So that's just about what the Huskies wanted to do. Jim Chenzi leading the tacklers that time. He's in his 5th year, a commerce student from St. Leonard, Quebec.
He's had a pretty good football game, too. He's made some 3 or 4 big defensive plays for St. Mary's here today.
He's the middle linebacker. He's a 5-year man. Probably kind of the stabling force for that defense for St. Mary's. And that middle linebacker like that 4-3 defense, you look for that guy to kind of lead you.
Milarovic. Good kick. Some confusion back there for the Huskies. Finally picked up by Mike O'Brien. O'Brien and Dale McClare get their signals crossed a little bit. Actually, I think it should have been McClare's football.
Yeah, he tried to catch it, though, but he tried to catch it up over his head. If we could see that on the replay, you'll see him trying to catch a ball kind of over his head, going backwards, and this is always a danger when you do that. St. FX has got great field position right now. They got St. Mary's backed up deep in their own territory. Here it is. See, try to catch it over his head instead of backing up and catching the ball waist high.
McClare was really in better position to make the play, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
First down, Huskies. And running room tough inside that time for Jeremy.
Jeremy now with 24 carries for 125 yards in the ball game, so he's averaging about 5 yards a carry, doing a pretty good job. That time it was, in fact, Calvin Scott who carried the football, so we'll knock those numbers down a little bit. 23 carries for 120 yards. He's still doing a good job carrying the football. Duffy, when you get a minute, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Mr. Pezzaretti, the right tackle for the St. Mary's offensive line. I think he's had a pretty good football game, leading some of those sweeps.
He's had an outstanding job, and
this is 2nd and 5. O'Brien will try for the first down himself. He comes close. Ball came loose after the whistle.
Well, it came loose because he was trying to sneak it out there for another yard, stretching it out there kind of as he hit the ground, because I think he's going to be about a yard short.
I have a minute to remind you about our next telecast here on TSN. It is Concordia Stingers against the Ottawa GGs. It'll be Friday night, October the 26th, 7:30 Eastern Time. That's 4:30 on the West Coast. And we hope you can join us for that action in the Ontario-Quebec Conference.
to get back Peter to pass to Steady. What I like about him when he pulls out there and turns up around the corner, some guys will get out there and they will throw a block. They got the first down, by the way, but some guys will throw a block. Well, I think that's effective, but what Passeretti does that I like, he doesn't leave his feet. He'll knock you down, and as he knocks you down, he kind of runs over you or by you and goes on and maybe gets a second man. So sometimes he'll get two guys on that option sweep that they run. And, you know, I'm satisfied if the guy gets one block, but he usually, sometimes he gets 1, 2, or 3.
1st and 10 Huskies.
And they keep running the ball to his side of the field.
Jeremy has 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6. But it's a long way to go for the St. Mary's Huskies. 8:28 to play in quarter number 4. Crucial sequence for the St. Mary's Huskies. 2nd down and 6 to go. O'Brien pitches to Jeremy, and Jeremy is stopped well short of a first down. Good defensive play that time by Alan Tracy, number 50.
They just don't run the ball quite that play as well to the left as they do to the right, you know. And I think the reason is that Passeretti is on the right side, and you know, he's just does an outstanding job on that particular play.
So on 3rd down, Scott Anderson will kick it away. Anderson back near his 15. Not a good kick this time, but they make it a good roll out of it. For the X-Men, Bruce Loney. Loney crosses the midfield line. Stopped there by Dale McClare, 44 for the Huskies. Good field position for the X-Men, who lead it 14-11. 7:45 to play in the 4th quarter.
Well, see, they just picked up about 15 yards on that exchange here because of the great punt that they had on the play before. And St. Mary's is now going against the wind, and they're not. It's tough to punt that ball with 50 yards. So when you're going against the wind out here, strong as it is today.
There's Billy Ray Somerville. And Somerville, 2 good fakes over the middle. And the intended receiver was Dave Muller. And Billy Ray went down. He was hit after he got the pass away, or as he was getting the pass away, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't see a flag, so it must have been as he was getting the pass away. Or otherwise, you'd be criticizing the official, John.
Yes, I would have been. Very pleasant weather out in Halifax this weekend.
Beautiful.
Absolutely a gorgeous day. Quite a fine evening right now.
Yes, it is. Good football weather, just crisp.
Somerville 3 for 11 in passing for 41 yards.
It's a new formation there. A new formation there for St. Francis Xavier. Had nobody in the backfield. Now, Lance Bullock is a graduate from University of Windsor, and playing under Gino Fracas, you will see that type of formation a lot, because Gino used to do that quite frequently. And I can see Lance pick that one up from his old coach.
That new formation needs a little bit of work, though.
Well, that's usually a passing formation. He tried to run a draw play. He thought if he took all the guys out of the backfield, St. Mary's would move their linebackers out of there, but they didn't. So the draw play didn't work. The quarterback draw didn't work.
3rd and 9. And a fine kick by Milanovic. On the receiving end, Mike O'Brien. Still going at the 50-yard line. What a brilliant return. Mike O'Brien, number 27. And he turns the Huskies' field position right around.
I'd like to see that one again.
We'll see that again. Actually, they lost 3 yards on that punt. That was an outstanding individual effort. Because there's not a lot of blocking, you know. This is done basically on his own. There's one tackle missed right there. There's another one. There's one missed right here. There's another one missed. I think this one here is missed also, yes. He almost breaks the play. Outstanding individual effort right there to put St. Mary's in good field position.
Calvin Scott picked up 7 yards in a play we just missed, showing you the long kick return. And that gives the Huskies a 2nd down 3-yard to go situation.
That was just an outstanding individual effort there on that punt return.
This is 2nd and 3. Calvin Scott has the first down. Scott brought down by Ron Blair, number 18. So the Huskies on the move.
You'll see outstanding balance here by Scott on this play. Very good balance if we can see that. Maybe we won't get a chance to go back to it. We didn't get a chance to get back to it, though, John. That's all right.
Back to Mike O'Brien. 7 punt returns for 76 yards. None bigger than the one we just saw. It's first down Huskies. This is Calvin Scott. And a maze of Axeman tacklers. Stop him after a 5-yard gain. First man under the pile is Darrell Upshaw, number 78.
If we see that again, Tuffy, I think the running back ran right into the man that his end was trying to block. If he'd been able to cut it outside, I think Scott might have picked up a little bit more yardage.
Here, Scott's more of a power runner than Jeremy. There, see, he just... Well, it's hard to see from up here, Peter, at that angle, but it looked like he didn't see anything, any opening there, and he just put his head down and bulled him for 5 yards, which I kind of like that about him.
2nd and 5 Huskies. This is Scott once more. And he comes close to the first down, maybe a yard short, as Scott finds the 35-yard line of the X-Men. And the Huskies will try and keep this drive going. Right now, they trail it by 3. And 4. 3rd down, a long yard to go. And the Huskies might have come up a little bit short.
No, it was a key play. They had 3rd down and about 1.5 yards. And they didn't make it there. Sure, linebackers, they hit him very, very tough. You know, that's they had a yard because that's a crucial play right there. They needed that first down.
So they turn it over to the X-Men. X-Men beginning from the 35-yard line with a first down. Somerville handing off to Dempsey, I believe.
Yeah, that was just a power right up off the left guard, left tackle. Reverse pivot out to Dempsey. St. Francis Xavier's saying, in fact, they need a first down here badly. If they get a first down here, they can probably sew up the game pretty much.
It's 2nd down and 6. 4-yard pickup. St. Francis at the 39-yard line, their own. Gorgachuk, 10 carries for 52 yards for the X-Men. Somerville under some pressure, throws anyway. It's picked off. Here come the Huskies. Mike O'Brien, and O'Brien. 2 great plays in a matter of moments. O'Brien has the Huskies down to the 35-yard line. Great punt return by O'Brien. Now an interception.
Here we are. Now, the quarterback here throws the thing. Somerville off balance. See, they got a hold of it. He throws it up for grabs there. O'Brien intercepts and then does a good job of running the ball after he intercepts. Watch this cutback right there. Excellent cutback to make that individual missing. Takes the ball. He's had 2 outstanding plays here this quarter that kept St. Mary's in the ball game and given them a chance to win.
Somerville would like to take that one back, no question about it. Huskies on the move. This is Calvin Scott.
Well, a great bit of defense there by the X-Men after Scott had picked up 9 yards. And again, our friend number 55 was out leading that play. Passarelli was once more out there and threw another good block and ran right over the guy again, Tuffy, as you have pointed out that he is in the habit of doing.
Yeah, that was an outstanding play there. Scott, there was a lot of daylight there. I thought Scott might break that for a minute, but he doesn't have the quickness that Jeremiah has. But he got a little more power.
He does have some power.
But they're in great field position right now.
Well, they're in position to tie. They're in position that they might be able to come up with a victory. But not on that play. Scott was stopped well short of a first down. In fact, he lost a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and 3. And Pat Yancey comes up with a big play for St. Francis. So, dying moments of the fourth quarter. Less than 3 minutes to play. Still just 3 points between. So on third down, St. Mary's Huskies will look for a tie now. Some early movement. Now the field goal was wide.
Wait a minute. There was a penalty on the play, John.
I know, early movement there,
Yeah.
so they may get another chance. They may get a chance to go for the touchdown.
Well, I didn't see the official signal down there whether or not the field goal was good or not.
There was no signal on the field goal at all, but I think the officials might have been mesmerized by the early movement.
Yes.
I believe it came from St. Francis.
Oh, he did. It gave him a first down, but you know, Coach Utek might like to have had the choice. Take the 3 points to tie or take the ball there. And the official, I don't think, gave him a choice. They must have blew the play dead before it was kicked.
But they ruled it a first down.
Yeah, I think they blew it dead because the official never gave us a signal.
So the Husky offense gets another try. This is Scott. And Scott stopped after a gain of maybe 3 yards.
I think if we see that
down a little bit early.
I think if we see that play again, Pazzarelli that time missed the block on the corner, and the guy sneaked in to make the tackle.
Oh, did he? Maybe you caught that.
I was
Peter.
watching.
Did I've got you zeroed in on him, huh?
Steve Jeremy
Let's
comes
see
in.
here.
Big play right here. Big play.
Well, it's pretty hard to tell, but the important thing for the X-Men is that they did indeed manage to break that play down before it really got rolling.
This is 2nd and 8 facing the Huskies now. O'Brien in big trouble and down. So, on third down, they forced the Huskies back to the 35-yard line, so it's going to be a longer field goal.
Well, it's going to be just about the same as, no, it's going to be a little shorter than the one before. The one before was from the 41, and John, this looks like it's going to be from the 38. But he kicked the ball very well the last time. He got good foot in it. St. Francis Xavier come up with a big defensive play that time to throw O'Brien for a loss.
So Jerry Foster is 1 for 3 in field goals on the evening. And this from the 38 can tie it for the Huskies. Oh, folks, how can you, when you've got a little luck on your team, it helps a great deal. Lance Bullock has just seen a certain tie turn into a potential victory once more.
That ball hit the upright.
Can you believe it?
Oh, gee, that's the, what's this, instant replay. Here we go. Watch it. He kicks, he gets a fair foot in it, not real good foot, and it's hooking. It's hooking to the left. It hits it right upright. 2 inches to the left, and it's a tie football game. That's really too bad.
And Larry Utek is 10 yards out on the field, exhorting his defense and saying, come on, guys, we've got 1 minute and 32 seconds to play in the football game, and if we can get the ball back and not give up too much of the field in doing so, maybe we can force this tie that has come so near and yet right now is so far away with 1 minute and 32 seconds to play.
Well, there's lots of time left, as you say, in this game.
Yep, there's time. There's time.
1:32. Not a lot of scoring, but it's been a rather interesting football evening, hasn't
Yes,
it?
it has. Yes, it has.
Okay, it's first down for Billy Ray Somerville and St. Francis. And they'll keep it along the ground. Dempsey. And Don Dempsey, 23. He was met by Darrell Godet, Dave Thompson.
That's good play on first down. They've got second and about 3 there now.
They mark it as a gain of 7 yards, 2nd and 3.
Now they might have to call on Terry O'Brien to come up with a big play again here.
Dempsey, 20 carries for 90 yards and 1 touchdown. Most impressive member of the X-Men backfield, no doubt about that. And likely has the first down there. Jim Chenzi making the tackle. Gorgachuk, the ball carrier. And he has a first down. So the X-Men would be very content to grind it out along the ground.
Yep, sure they would.
1 minute to play.
And, you know, they've got you know, 2 plays.
This is a very important game for the X-Men. If they can win this, they will be in at least a tie for second place in the conference, pending the outcome of this weekend's game between Mount Allison and Acadia.
Mount Allison and Acadia are even atop the standings with 3-1 records, and they'll play later in the weekend.
All right, there's the delay of the game right now. They lose the down, plus they lose the yardage here in the last 3 minutes of play.
They also lose about 25 seconds off the clock, which I think is a significant figure.
Well, that's right. That's one thing they're trying to do. I guess they don't lose the yardage, they just lose the down.
It'll be 2nd and 10, yes.
Yeah.
2nd and 10, Axman.
Now, what St. Mary's has to do after this play, if they don't get the first down, is call a timeout.
And nowhere to go that time for Dempsey. Again, Jim Chenzi. 50-year player, commerce student, St. Leonard, Quebec is his hometown.
Outstanding play by Jim Chenzi.
Yep, see, St. Mary's called her timeout now. That's good coaching right there. Good move.
See, Larry Utek must be plugged into this broadcast because he's taking an awful lot of advice from you.
Well, it's not that. It's just he's such an intelligent young man. He's had such great teachers, you know, that he's become a very intelligent young man over in his young career. They can get the ball if the punter for St. Francis Xavier don't boom one out of the stadium here. They may have the ball in time for about 3 plays and a crack at another field goal.
Who was that coach in Montreal when Larry played there, John?
I'm trying to think. There might have been a few of them in Montreal in those days.
Well, Montreal has
Joe Scanella was there.
I think he played 1 year under Joe Scanella, but he played at the Toronto Argonauts for most of his career. But he learned all his football before that.
I take it he was a 5-year member of your team at Laurier?
No, he wasn't. No,
oh.
No, he got out there quick. He's a very intelligent guy. He graduated.
He graduated quickly.
Yeah.
40 seconds on the clock. Milanovic. And he doesn't get a good kick away at all. A good bounce for the Huskies. This one is not over yet. 32 seconds on the clock. And young Jerry Foster may get another chance before it's over.
Well, you know, I impartial in this game, but I feel bad for the kicker. You know, he kicks the ball and gets pretty good foot in it, and it hits the upright. It'd be, I guess, kind of just if the young man got another chance to kind of make himself right here and
that would be his 3rd chance to tie the game, actually, because he did kick it once, and then the Huskies got a first down because of penalty to the X-Men. And then he
another young man who'd
post.
like a chance, and that's Tony Thomas. He's dropped 2 touchdown passes for the Huskies here today, too.
Well, they're about due to go to him, I believe.
And they'll throw O'Brien up the middle. Open. Oh, what an outstanding catch. And he is ruled inbounds. Matt Graham. Now, Graham caught the touchdown in the first half, and a great catch there.
Outstanding catch. Outstanding catch there. That ball was thrown where it should be thrown. Outside, it's going to be out of boundary. He's going to make the catch. What outstanding. O'Brien delivers the ball extremely well. What? Goes up high. There it comes. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's in. The coaches for St. Francis Xavier was kind of getting on the officials because he was out of bounds, but it was an outstanding catch. Now, do you throw the ball now, or you just kind of be conservative and run it at him?
Well,
and
you
then
got to
take
try
the
for the win, don't you?
I would.
On first down, O'Brien looks to the end zone. He's got a touchdown. Yes, he does. John Lucan has the touchdown, and the Huskies have come back to take the lead with 21 seconds on the clock.
Now, we want to see this again.
Big finish.
We want to see this again because O'Brien does an outstanding job here of picking up the secondary receiver. The man he wanted to go to is Thomas, but he's covered. He buys some time because St. Francis Xavier puts a lot of pressure on him here. Watch, they blitz him. He steps up into the pocket, there and he's covered, and he goes to the secondary receiver. Good catch. Good catch. It's up high. That's a good job of...
And Lucan does a good job to get into the end zone because he's hit it about the 2-yard line there.
Well, when he catches that, you know it's going to take something to bring him down and keep him out of the end zone.
No question about it. Once more with feeling.
Yeah, good catch, State. O'Brien does a good job stepping up into the pocket and picking up the secondary receiver. But St. Francis Xavier had put the blitz on him.
Jerry Foster. And he missed that one as well. He shanked that one.
Yeah, that was a very bad kick. I think he kicked that one with his shin bone. I don't even think his foot hit the ball there. He probably said, who cares, you know. But the only thing is, it's 17-14 with 21 seconds to play.
Now a field goal can tie it going the other way.
Tie it up, that's exactly right.
There is a little excitement in this stadium right now. These people have waited a long time to see St. Mary's Huskies win a football game in 1984. And they're 21 seconds away for their first win in 5 starts. And Larry Utek is exhorting his troops to get the ball deep into the X-Men's end of the field and hold them in there for 21 seconds.
Coach Utek was doing a little coaching there on the sideline. He's doing just a little bit of coaching, you know. Tell those guys, get down there, it's not over yet. You got to get down there and cover the kickoff. And I'll be interested to see where he either kicks it deep and takes a chance on Dempsey and McIver running it back, or he squibs it. I'd kick it deep, though, myself, but I don't know what he'll do.
Matt Graham has 2 receptions for 72 yards, 1 a touchdown, and the other set up the Huskies' try for the touchdown. Now, with 19 seconds to go, the X-Men have... Well, they've got a long way to go to even get a chance to kick the field goal.
Well, as I said, I would have kicked it deep. Coach Utek obviously is smarter than I am because he's still in the business, so he kicks it short.
Well, if he wins, he's smarter than you are.
Yes, that's true. I've lost on this field before.
I mean, if he wins this game.
Well, you know, I think he's got a chance right now. But they still have to play it tough.
17 seconds. Billy Ray Somerville has a completion and out of bounds at the 28-yard line at is number 28, Mike McIntyre. Now he's out at the 48-yard line. 13 seconds remaining.
If you get a shot at Coach Utek, he's only about 5 to 7 yards out onto the field. Now he did learn that from me also, because I couldn't see unless I got out over the hump when the field's crested. You know, you can't see unless there's
I can see why you would have a problem. First down for the X-Men. 13 seconds, and another completion. Same receiver, number 28.
Well,
Bill McIntyre.
If he can catch another one like that, that's about a 10-yard gain. If he can catch another one like that, he'll be on the 38-yard line, and he'll have a chance at a 45-yard field goal.
Now we have a penalty, and I believe it's going against the Huskies. It looks like rough play, which could really hurt.
8 seconds to play in the final quarter. 17-14 is the score. The Huskies leading the St. Francis Xavier X-Men. I should tell you that Milanovic, the place kicker for St. Francis Xavier, has kicked a 50-yard field goal this year. It was a wind-aided 50-yard field goal a couple of weeks ago. As a matter of fact, it came against St. Mary's.
I think here we're getting a roughing play on St. Mary's. Now, if it's after the completion, it's from the point of the foul, so it would be where the ball is now. So you tack on another 15 yards, and they're going to be, yes it is, it's going to be down on about the 30-yard line. So, you know, that extra point that we missed down there starting to get bigger and bigger, John.
Is it ever?
Well, the St. Francis Xavier X-Men have called a timeout, and it looks like they're probably going to go for the field goal right now, I think. Here's Milanovic coming out onto the field. Lance Bullock escorts him out to almost to the hash marks. We've had a case of both coaches spending as much time on the field of play as they have on the bench today.
It's going to be about a 39-yard field goal, which is well within his range. And plus, he's got a pretty strong wind behind him. I don't think it's a contest of whether or not he can get it there. I think it's a contest on his accuracy. It's a 38-yard. He's got the mark down on a 38-yard. So it's a 30-yard field goal.
Penalties costing the Huskies. They've been penalized 6 times for 70 yards. None bigger than the roughing penalty just called. Here goes the field goal.
It's in there.
He's got it. And we're even once more. So a very costly penalty against the St. Mary's Huskies. And allows the X-Men to come back and tie this football game. Well, quite a night, really.
There's 4 seconds left, John.
I suppose there's another chance.
It's not over till it's over. And
I have another little bit of news for you. If the game is tied at the end of regulation, they play 2 10-minute halves, No sudden death, gentlemen. 4 seconds to play. I see 2 17s on the board, one each way. We might have overtime here.
Are you kidding me, Peter?
Would I kid you, Tuffy?
Well, a lot of guys have been trying to do it the last couple of days.
That's a very big field goal for Harvick.
Well, we kind of chuckled when he kicked the extra point down there and he hit it with his shin. But
looks like we're going to work overtime.
Well, I only get paid time and a half when I work overtime. I don't know what.
I don't think I have that in my contract.
Oh, don't you?
No.
I guess I'm one up on you again, John.
All right, time runs out on regulation here. And the Huskies lose the football, actually, is what happens. The X-Men come up with it. So we're heading to overtime. Strange turn of events.
Well, I don't know if those officials realize it or not, but they're going to work overtime too. No, maybe. I'm not sure it's overtime.
Let's see if we can pick up the...
10-minute half, and then if it's tied, it's tied.
Okay, let's go.
Yes, you have to have a break. It's not healthy. Someone can get injured. Break now, Larry. He's saying 5-minute break here, sir.
Lance Bullock down there trying to get the information. Let's see if we can pick up on it.
Well, I don't think we bargained for this, did we?
We were not totally expecting this, Duffy.
This must be the only conference in the country that plays overtime. You were talking, what happened is, you've been talking about hockey all night. They think this is hockey, and it's overtime.
Well, it looks like we are heading to overtime. Peter Watts has the story completely right. And an entertaining evening of football at Husky Stadium.
So it's 17-all. We're going to overtime, and we'll be back at Husky Stadium in Halifax in just a moment. Well, isn't college football a lot of fun? We were all set to fill about 20 minutes of airtime and get on the plane and go back to Toronto. And now we're sitting here waiting for 2 10-minute periods, no sudden death. We may need hotel space tonight.
We might have to stay over, but I'll tell you what, I've had a good time in Halifax, Tuffy, and I wouldn't mind staying over tonight. We've had a pretty good football evening here.
Well, it's been a real good evening, and I was worried about staying over, but I just got the word from Bob Hayes, and he called to Air Canada. He's got so much power down here that he said he'd hold up the flight until we get there.
Well, and even if they won't hold up the flight, we'll all move over to Bob's house and stay there tonight.
Well, yeah, it's cheap, too. I mean, we can move in. His wife's a good cook, and she's very tolerant. She has to be tolerant to be married to him, so we'd have a good time there.
Do you suppose we could talk a little football here if it's not too much trouble?
Well, I think we could. I think we'll go back to that missed convert and say that's the reason that we're here, continuing and moving into overtime.
Well, you know, just let you know that sometimes things that you don't think are important, and when he missed the convert, I think St. Mary was so excited and hyper that they scored a touchdown, and it looked like the winning touchdown, that it didn't probably ever dawn on him that convert was going to be of utmost importance, you know, and he kicked it very poorly. She didn't hit it with his foot at all.
And, of course, the penalty against St. Mary's, the rough play penalty that really set up the good chance for the game-tying field goal.
Yeah. I'd like to go back to a comment that Larry Utek made at the top of the telecast when he said the problem we've been having with this Huskies team this year is that they have not been able to play a full 60 minutes of football. Well, indeed, that problem seems not to have been a problem in this game because the Huskies battled back and they kept themselves in the football game and they forced the tie, and now they forced overtime. And as you say, we're trying to find out if Air Canada can hold the plane.
They forced the tie, and actually a couple of big plays, if we look back, by Mike O'Brien really got the Huskies back into this game. The punt return and then later an interception. So we'll have to look at him as one of the reasons that the Huskies did get back into the game.
Well, I don't think there's any question. He's the guy that was the key that you know, kept him in the game with his punt return, and then actually could have won the game for him with the pass interception, you know.
And what about Matt Graham, that great catch inside the X-Men 25-yard line that set up the game-tying touchdown, or the game-winning touchdown at that stage of things anyway.
Outstanding play.
All right, now as a coach now, very quickly, how do you approach this overtime?
Well, I think you have to approach it not conservatively. I think you have to go out there and play good defense, which they've been doing, and try to get down and get the score. But I think St. Mary's would say, don't make any mistakes. Don't give St. Francis Xavier anything, because that's what's happened. They've given them some things tonight and helped them.
So we're going to overtime here at Husky Stadium in Halifax. They'll play 2 10-minute, no sudden death. It's 17 all. Both teams back on the field, and we're getting set to go here. And I hope the lights hold up so that you can see what we're going to see, and that is a little overtime in college football.
Well, and we look forward to it, too, because it has been an interesting evening, no question about that. And enthusiastic supporters of the St. Mary's Huskies have kept everyone's interest in this football evening in Halifax at Husky Stadium. Exman the kickoff, and the St. Mary's Huskies start back, led by Mike O'Brien once more. 27 O'Brien turns it up with pretty good speed. He's across the 30-yard line.
Total offense in the ball game to this point, St. Mary's has 281 yards in total offense, and the X-Men just 210. So it has not been an offensive display this evening that we have watched. Both defenses have played pretty good football, only 500 yards, but the important statistic is on the scoreboard, where it says 17 points apiece, and that's why we're playing a little extra football here.
It is a first down for the Huskies. They begin at their 33-yard line. Good fake by O'Brien as he looks long and just overthrows Matt Graham, number 13. Graham was in behind everybody. And you see the frustration mirrored on Coach Utek's face in his second year as the head man at St. Mary's.
Here's the play, John. He's wide open. There's nobody within 25 yards of him. He can't be any more wide open than this. And Terry, inexperienced. There's where your inexperienced quarterback. If you had an experienced quarterback, he would have laid it up there high, even if he'd have thrown it end over end, and because he was that wide open. And Terry was just inexperienced, and he laid it up there a little bit too far, and he was unable to get it.
This is 2nd and 10 now, Husky. O'Brien will throw again, this time a shorter pattern, and the completion to Tony Thomas, number 22.
And he finally makes the catch. I was just thinking that it would be appropriate if he got a chance to catch the football one more time. He's one of the players who's dropped 2 sure touchdown passes in this ball game, and now he gets the catch for a big first down up at the 48-yard line, and keeps this Husky drive alive.
Well, St. Mary's is not being very conservative, are they? They're coming out there and gunning them.
And good for them, Tuffy.
Yeah, I think that's the way you have to play it. And you can do that when you're not expected to win.
First down, St. Mary's. O'Brien will throw again if he gets away. He lost the football. And now it's going to be interesting because I believe the X-Men touched that just before it went out of bounds. We'll have to take another look at the replay. If so, it would be
well, official said no, but I believe you're right, John. I believe the ball is touched.
Hard to tell. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Very, very close.
The official who made the call was about 12 or 15 yards away. He was right on the sideline, and no other official really had a good look at it. And he did not waste any time, to his credit. He said no, the ball was out of bounds before it was touched. St. Mary's keeps possession.
Tough from our point of view because we were looking right down at it, and really it could go either way.
He's in better position because he was looking right at the sideline. Now, I would agree to that.
So it'll be 2nd down. Huskies, they need 12 for a first. O'Brien has a strike, but he's short of the first down.
Now we've got a penalty flag.
Made the catch, but he comes up short.
I think he's going to call offensive lineman down the field. Yes, that's what it was.
Tuffy.
That used to be one of my pet peeves. I used to play Ray Johnson at McMaster University, and I used to tell Ray, you ought to throw the ball to your offensive guard because he's deeper downfield than your tight end.
And what was his response?
Oh, he said, never, never. So we always had to depend on the film. But that time it was too late to do anything about it.
So they wave off the penalty. The X-Men take their option and force the Huskies to kick on 3rd down and 9.
Well, the kicker, St. Mary's has the ball in pretty good field position. If he gets a decent kick away, St. Francis Xavier will be backed up fairly deep.
This is Scott Anderson Back at his 35. Good kick. Taken by Bruce Loney. And Loney is down at his 25. So the X-Men start with reasonable field position, but still a little deep in their zone.
Little deep, yes.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, that
always be worse.
The guy come up and caught the ball on the run there. St. Francis Xavier Loney did. Watch. Good snap. Gets the ball away, but he doesn't get the thing up for you. And Loney comes up and catches it on a fly. That's better than letting that ball hit the ground and start bouncing around.
Scott Dunthorne shaken up for the Huskies. He's being attended to while the X-Men patiently await their next offensive sequence. What about your impressions, Tuffy, of the quarterback, Billy Ray Somerville? He has not had a great deal of CIAU football experience. How has he handled himself in his second game?
He's done a real good job, except a few times he's thrown the ball off balance. And whenever he's done that, it's got him in trouble a couple times. And that comes from lack of experience. He's got good mobility, and he throws the ball fairly well.
On first down, Don Dempsey. And he has 4 yards. Peter Kerwin led the tacklers for the Huskies. It'll be 2nd and 6 facing St. FX.
I've got Rudy Lowe's on here. He's the referee-in-chief for the Atlantic Universities Conference. Rudy, the official ruling on the overtime.
The official ruling here, because of the shortness of the evenings, is that we will play 2 10-minute halves, exactly as a game, but as one 10-minute period. There will be a 3-minute whistle prior to the end of each half, and there will be 2 timeouts allowed per team.
No sudden death.
No sudden death. If it ends up tied, that's at the end of the 2 periods, and it will go down as a tie.
I'm glad you were here today to explain that, because the coaches didn't seem to know either.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, thank God.
Rudy, thank you for being with us.
Okay, Peter. Well, Billy Ray Somerville was lucky to get that football back.
That's right. That's right, John. He fumbled the ball, and the ball bounced back up into his hand. Otherwise, St. Mary's would have had the ball in pretty good position.
It forces a punting situation for the X-Men. Milanovic back near his 10-yard line to accept the pass from center. Good kick, calling for it. It's McClare tries the outside routes, and he hit well. Uh-oh. Dale McClare, excellent return.
You know what, on that play, there was a good play made by, I think it was Tony Thomas, number 22, because he tried to throw a block, and he knew that if he did throw it, he'd be called for clipping. He laid off, and the ball carrier was able to elude the St. Francis defender. Watch this, Tuffy. Right there, I think. 54 would have been clipped if he hadn't, if he tried to block him.
It's tough to see. That's called discipline, you know, and that's the toughest thing to teach a football player. But I'm glad to see him do that. That was intelligent, heads-up play. That play almost broke there, you know. Got my hair going all the way.
Huskies inside the 35. This is Scott. Calvin Scott.
There's Passarelli again leading the play. He pushed the one defender out, but that time the St. Francis defense pursued very well, and Scott wasn't able to make very much yardage. I don't want to play analyst here and steal your thunder. Go ahead.
No, that was a good job, Peter. He did push the man out, but Scott did a good job of cutting the thing back because there's nothing there. It's not there. When it's not there, it's not there. So you cut it back up and take what you can get. And he ended up getting close to 3 yards on the play, 2.5 yards on the play.
That's what I said. 2nd down, John.
About 7.5 to go. O'Brien in trouble. 2 came that time, Lovasek and Blair. Ron Blair and Steve Lovasek.
See, Terry's got to realize you know, when it's not there. He's got a little time. You don't have that much time. You have to realize when it's not there, and that's when you throw it over, out of bounds, or in the second row of the bleachers, and play it from there.
I think it's tougher to hear the blindside linebacker coming on AstroTurf than it is on grass.
Well, I don't know. Some guys can sense that, but that's tough. That's kind of scary. Now, this is a 52-yard field goal against the wind. Going to be tough.
Jerry Foster.
Oh, good leg. Good leg.
He makes it. How about that?
Oh.
He missed earlier, hit the post, and he missed the convert that has really caused this overtime.
That's an outstanding field goal.
52 yards away, Jerry Foster makes no mistake whatsoever.
He kicks just like a freshman, you know. He misses the extra point that could win the game for you, and then he banged in a 52-yarder. That's what young freshmen do. They're inconsistent because they haven't been down that road before with this pressure and the tension of a game, and that's how they will perform. That's why it's tough to win if you got too many of them.
Oh, it's 20-17 now for the St. Mary's Huskies, and they're starting to capitalize on their chances. Now we have a timeout called by the Huskies with 5 minutes and 33 seconds to play in this 10-minute overtime session.
Jerry Foster is the young man from Burlington we talked about earlier.
That was good leg. He got extremely good leg into that because that thing cleared the bar, and he could have gone maybe another 5 to 10 yards and still made it.
We have a minute here, gentlemen. I want to tell you a little bit about college football coming up this weekend. British Columbia is at Calgary in a key West Division matchup. The Dinosaurs still trying to remain unbeaten now, heading to that tremendously challenging game in Alberta, in Edmonton next week against the Golden Bears. Also this week, Saskatchewan's at Manitoba, Western at Guelph, Toronto at Waterloo, York at McMaster. That's a great football game in the OUAA this weekend. Laurier will be at Windsor, McGill at Concordia, Bishops at Carleton, Ottawa GGs pay a return visit to Queens, and Acadians at Mount Allison, and that's an important contest in Atlantic Conference football, with the Axemen trying to maintain a full share of first place in the Atlantic Conference play. So lots of good football this weekend, and we hope that you'll get out and support the college team in your area.
It's a first down for St. FX. And a flag goes down as Dempsey carries across the 40-yard line, almost to the 45. Check that, it's Gorgachuk.
I think we got a face mask, and this is the trap play there. The left guard trap, good execution. Plus we got a face mask, which means the ball is going to be down around midfield right now. Good trap play. St. Francis Xavier's been using this trap here the second half quite a bit. They just take their left guard, and he'll pull and trap for their fullback.
Now the key again for the Huskies is a little discipline here. They've got themselves into the lead. They've kept themselves in the football game with a tremendous effort in the second half. Now what they have to show is a little discipline to try and hold off the X-Men who have the football and are on the march at the 51-yard line.
Tough running inside for Gorgachuk once more. Check that. That's Dempsey, 23. And he has a gain of 4 yards. Here's one that's going to date you a little bit, Tuffy. A note just handed me. Dale McClare's father, Greg McClare, played as a fullback against one of Tuffy's teams years ago.
Boy, it's amazing. Watch this straight ahead blocking here. He hits and slides outside and picks up about 3 yards. In regards to that there, I was very young when I started coaching.
You
John.
must have been.
Yeah, I was very young.
Yeah.
Yes, I was. I was hardly older than the players.
Well, that must have been the case. It's second down, a long 6 to go. Somerville back to throw, has his man complete to Bill McIntyre at the 45-yard line, and he was tackled by 44, Dale McClare.
Okay, this is a key play for St. Francis Xavier because they got 2nd and 7. Watch the quarterback here now. Somerville does a good job. Watch his feet. Excellent, and he drills this ball in there on a slant in. Now that ball was well thrown. That's a well-executed play. That time he dropped back, got into his drop very quickly, and threw the ball extremely well. That's probably the best pass he's thrown tonight.
Another first down for the X-Men. They're now at the 40-yard line of the Huskies. And this is Dempsey. Dempsey actually slipped.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 10 on this particular play. They have shut Mr. Dempsey down pretty well in this second half. The odd run here and there, but nothing too substantial, and certainly a much better effort by the Husky defenders against Dempsey, who is the leading rusher in the conference and 5th in the country. Much better effort against Dempsey by the Husky defenders than they had in that last game 2 weeks ago that we've referred to.
2nd down and 10. Exman at the 40-yard line. And this time they try the draw play with very little success. In fact, no success at all. Chenzi, Jim Chenzi, leading the tacklers for the Huskies once more.
Chenzi made 2 plays there in a row. The last play on Dempsey, he sliced off, peeled off, and scraped off tackle and made the play. And that play there on the draw play, he stayed home and read the draw play, come up and makes a play there. That's also experience. So he didn't go for the pass at all. He read the lineman and read the draw play. That's just, you learn that. There's only way to learn that is through experience.
Milanovic will kick from midfield on 3rd and 11. Pretty good boot away. Down to the 3-yard line. It's McClare, 44. And McClare, another outstanding return. He's been very good on specialty teams for the Huskies. He gets them out of a little trouble. Pretty good field position at the 30 when it looked rather bleak.
Right, he had to toss the ball on a 5-yard line. This young man has done a good job, and he doesn't run to the sideline. He does a good job on punt returns. Him and O'Brien have been outstanding tonight. But here it comes. He catches that ball on a 5-yard line. Watch, almost breaks it again, because back there's a good block there. Another good block. Now he cuts it back right about here. Watch it. Cuts it back, gets back into the flow here. Breaks a tackle there. Breaks another tackle. Come very close, you know, another block or so, and he breaks it. But he gets it out to the 30-yard line, which makes it a little more comfortable to operate your offense.
We're in overtime in Halifax at Husky Stadium, and the Huskies are in the lead 20-17. Early movement.
I think the left tackle for St. Mary's, you can see it here, he's downfield about 5 to 6 yards before the ball snaps.
First indication is a procedure call.
Yeah, he's getting a good head of steam up.
I want to just mention a couple of statistical areas where the St. Mary's Huskies do show up in the national rankings. Dale McClare is 8th in the country in punt returns. Mike O'Brien is 9th in Canada in kickoff returns. And Scott Anderson is 7th as a kicker. So while the Huskies are a young team, they have shown us here on this particular occasion that they do indeed have some good players. And we want to tell you about the Concordia Stingers and the Ottawa Gee-Gees. That's Friday, October 26th from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa. 7:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 here in the Atlantic provinces, 4:30 on the West Coast. We hope you can join us. That's our next telecast on TSN.
It's 1st down, 15 facing the Huskies. And this is Calvin Scott, 32, trying the outside. Scott got back to the original line of scrimmage and a yard more than that, but he still comes up well short.
That time on the play, John, with the key block that sprung that play. Number 21 for the Huskies.
Scott has run extremely tough this second half. Ran very hard. Like I said, he doesn't have the quickness maybe and the move that Jeremiah has, but he's run with a little more power and he's a little bigger. And he's had a very good second half.
2nd and 8 facing Terry O'Brien and his Huskies right now at the 31. Good fake to Scott and intercepted. It's picked off by Paul Martin, and Martin will score. It looked like such a fine play because it was set up so well on the fake by O'Brien, and he just underthrew the intended receiver far side.
Well, it wasn't a badly thrown ball because it's down low. Martin just makes an outstanding play here. Let's see if we can catch it here. He makes an outstanding fake, and the deep man was covered. Oh, see, he catches it down low, but it is behind the receiver just a little bit. I don't know if we can see it again or not, but it's behind the receiver, and whenever you throw the ball behind the receiver, you know, there's an inexperienced error again that is costly.
Malarvik adds one more to the Axemen total, and the score changes once more. It's 24-20 for St. Francis University.
Good job by Northfield there to pull in that high snap and set it up for Mlinarevic to kick the extra point. 24-20 now for the X-Men over St. Mary's. We have 2 minutes and 21 seconds to play in the overtime.
There was the replay. See, you could see the ball was thrown behind the receiver. It was thrown behind on his backside. That lets the defensive player have a chance to come in between and pick it off and return the thing all the way. If you throw the ball out in front of the man, they get incomplete sometimes and knocked down, but very seldom are they intercepted if you throw the ball out in front.
That was Paul Martin's second interception of this evening.
Outstanding defensive play, Tom.
That one for the touchdown, but he's totaled 56 yards in interception returns. That's his biggest play of the night, no question.
Yep, that was a very big play. But St. Mary's looked like they had the ball in fair field position.
Calling for it, Mike O'Brien. And O'Brien getting away from the first wave, reversing his field, and he's not getting very much farther than the 16-yard line.
Penalty flag down on the field at the 20-yard line, so we'll see what the call is on this play. Could be a clip with all of that running back and forth across the field by O'Brien.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's going to put St. Mary's back even deeper.
Well, this Husky team has had to battle for every yard and every point that it's been able to pick up in this contest. Let's see what they can do now with 2 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the overtime session. It's a 24-20 ball game in favor of St. Francis Xavier X-Men. This is a big contest for the X-Men. They simply must win this if they have any hopes of finishing in the top first or second position, which is the spot they'll have to be in to make the playoffs in the Atlantic Conference.
And they have to catch Acadia or Mount Allison to get there. O'Brien pitching for Scott, and Scott finds running room. Scott still going at the 40-yard line, lost the football, and the X-Men have recovered. Scott just an outstanding job to get the football where he got it to. Unfortunately, the play ends in disaster.
You know, here you go. It's a power sweep here. Just pitch it out. Scott does a good job. There's an outstanding block there. Scott cuts it back. Good balance there. Right here. Good effort, stumbles, good balance again, comes back, and it's after the ball just popped loose. That's a shame, you know, that the lad that makes such a great effort like that, and to come up and fumble a football because he returned it from, that was about, you know, a 25 or 30-yard return. I guess it was more than that. The ball on the 43-yard line. They started probably from about the 7 or 8, maybe the 10. And that's really terrible that that happens to an individual who makes an effort like that, because he made a great effort.
Young team, rookie mistakes.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Calvin Scott in his first year, he's from Massachusetts.
The main thing is if you could just keep your players from getting discouraged and kind of build on the positive things.
Inside the 45, X-Men, first down. Somerville looking long. Has a man open, has a reception. Bill McIntyre.
Now we've got another penalty flag dropped. It's dropped back at the 40-yard line, well away from the play. And let's see what this infraction is for.
I think it's rough play against St. Mary's.
That's McIntyre's fourth catch.
The defensive man has it covered on this. Looky. But he tries to cut inside. Well thrown ball because it's caught over the outside shoulder, between the outside shoulder and the sideline. You don't get those kind intercepted. You get them knocked down or incomplete, but you don't get them intercepted. And there it was, a well thrown ball because it was over his outside shoulder between him and the sideline.
Larry Utek described this season as a frustrating season for him, and I think this game is an excellent example of what he's gone through down here in Halifax so far this year. His Huskies have battled back and now have made a couple of big mistakes. They've made 3 turnovers, and it looks like all 3 are going to cost them dearly.
And another penalty, which sets it back even further for the Huskies. It's first down, goal to go from the 9-yard line for St. Francis. And straight ahead, but a little short of the intended goal. Ball carrier that time was Gorgachuk. Somerville's passing stats have improved dramatically in the second half. He is now 7 for 16, 105 yards.
Well, that was a well-thrown ball, that one there, and the one before when they had here 2nd and 7, and he completed the pass on a slant in with a well-thrown ball. St. Mary's has played well tonight, except they've made the costly mistakes.
So it's 1st and goal to go, or 2nd and goal to go from the 4. And the X-Men come up short once more. Somerville carried it himself. Ronnie Lancaster always used to tell me, give it to your best back in a situation like that.
That's exactly right. Give it to your horse. And when I coached, I had Jim Reed, and I used to give it to him all the time. You know, I just say, give it to him, get out of his way. You know, my mama told me if you have a good horse, you ride him a lot. And we
actually, look at this. He dropped the football, Somerville. I didn't see that.
I didn't see him drop it either.
Got the old Argo bounce.
Yeah, that's what that's called, the Argo bounce.
Just to confirm again, gentlemen, there is a long way to go yet in this football game. There is another 5-minute or another 10-minute overtime period to be played after this one is completed. So it's 2 10-minute overtime periods to be played in this football game to decide a winner. And while St. Francis Xavier is driving for another score, the Huskies still have a fair bit of time, 11 minutes and 33 seconds of playing time to be exact, to try and come back.
I think this is the key play here. It's 3rd down about 1.5 yards. If they could hold them here, that means they're only down 4 points. They're within striking distance. So this is definitely a key play.
Now, some would ask if you kick a field goal here and assure yourself of 3 points, Tuffy.
That's a good question. I would run the ball.
You would run the ball.
Yeah.
Well, with a guy like Don Dempsey back there, I think it's probably a good decision.
Well, their fullback is a big, strong, powerful kid. I may give the ball to him.
Into the end zone for the touchdown. So the X-Men take advantage of another turnover. And you see the look of relief on Lance Bullock's face. Tough to stop from 1.5 yards away.
That's difficult. It's difficult. If your line is blowing them off the ball, and St. Francis Xavier's offensive line, watch, they'll move them back here on this. See them move them back. Whenever your line's able to do that, you know you're in control of the game usually. Watch, they blow them back off the ball, see? You've got to stop them like that. The defensive line has got to get some penetration. St. Francis Xavier did a great job of just blowing them back off the ball.
Milanovic adds to the total, and it's now 31-20 in favor of St. Francis University over St. Mary's.
1 minute and 31 seconds to play in the first half of this overtime session. And the Huskies down by 11.
Well, the Huskies got first points in the overtime.
Yeah. But like I said, they, they gave up the interception, and
then the fumble by Scott sets up the other one.
2 mistakes.
Dempsey has 26 carries, 97 yards for the X-Men, and 2 touchdowns.
Well, I think like I said, he's a durable individual that keeps coming at you, and sooner or later he's going to get some yardage, and St. Mary's has done a pretty good job containing him.
Let's see what this young Huskies team can show us now. Can they come back yet another time against St. Francis Xavier as we get set for this kickoff, John?
Waiting for it, Mike O'Brien. And O'Brien tries the middle route this time, comes out of the pack, and it's his 5th kickoff return. And he has a 14-yard average on the evening. So O'Brien sets it up with pretty good field position for the Huskies. Almost to the 30-yard line.
We talked about discipline. I think that's the quality that young O'Brien has to show now. He doesn't have to get it all at once. He's got 11 minutes and 24 seconds of playing time. 124 in this period, 10 more in the next one. He's got lots of time to move his team down the field and try and get some points on the board.
I think that's exactly right, Peter. He has to have some poise now, and like you said, have some discipline and take, you've got time to move down and get a field goal or a touchdown if you don't try to get it all in a hurry. And this is where young quarterbacks, need some guidance usually in this area.
chalk up 5 more yards for Calvin Scott, and it'll be 2nd down and 5 to go. Huskies at their own 35.
And Mr. Scott's had a pretty good second half in the overtime session as well. We saw the other running back there, Jeremy, carry the football a lot in the first part of the ball game, but he hasn't carried quite as much in this second half or in the overtime session.
No, Scott carried the ball mostly the second half and played most of the second half. It goes back again. They're different. They're extremely different. Jeremiah is a little bit of a finesse type player, and Scott's a little more of a power punishing type runner, because he punished that St. Francis Xavier player right there. He dropped the shoulder on him and he got another yard, and like I said, he's a punishing type runner.
Alan Tracy's shaken up and gets to the bench now for the X-Men. Scott has carried 12 times for 61 yards, and as you say, most of it in the second half and in the overtime. One costly fumble there after a great run.
After a great second effort, third effort. You can't criticize him for that.
Here's Scott once more. Same play, first down, still going. He's out of bounds. Ruled out of bounds.
But he's got the first down.
Line, no question about the first down. And he wasn't that far away from breaking that one.
And guess who was leading the play? Guess who was leading the play on that time? Number 55, Mr. Passarelli. He's going to sleep pretty good tonight, I think. He's done a lot of work here today.
He's had an outstanding game, yes.
Passarelli gets a gentle nudge from behind from Calvin
He breaks the tackle there. He breaks the tackle. He will break some tackles. Scott will definitely break some tackles. You got to tackle him. He's I don't know exactly how big he is, but I think he's a pretty good sized individual. He looks like he's big.
And they give it to Jeremy this time. Calvin Scott's only 5'11", 185.
That's not
he
bad.
Looks bigger.
That's not bad size,
bigger, doesn't he?
That's not bad size. 5'11", 185 for a first-year player. That's not bad at all.
You'd put a little beef on those bones.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
You get him in that weight room, and Bob Hayes, I'm sure, has got an outstanding weight room at St. Mary's through all the donations from the alumni or something, and he'll put another 15, 20 pounds on that individual.
Jeremy held to no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Terry O'Brien had a quick conference at the bench. The head coach Larry Utek, he's back now. 53 seconds on the clock. First overtime period.
This is probably going to be passing down for Terry O'Brien, I think. And St. Francis Xavier is probably going to come with the blitz.
He's let fly with a couple of impressive completions. Matt Graham, his favorite target. And it's Graham once more for the first down. Inside the 50 of St. X.
I thought Northfield, who made the tackle, stayed a long way off the receiver on that play, didn't you?
Well, yeah, he was playing a little bit cautious, you know, and like I said, they got 48 seconds. They've got time to score or time to get down for a field goal. If they would score, this last 10 minutes would be seesaw again, you know, it would be exciting.
It's first down. O'Brien tipped as he went over the middle. The intended receiver was John Lucan.
The St. Francis defenders have taken Lucan out of the offense a little bit for St. Mary's here in this ball game. Lucan had 6 catches for 111 yards in the game out at Antigonish a couple of weeks ago. But certainly he's not been near as much of an offensive factor in this ball game as he was in that one.
Matt Graham has 3 receptions for 85 yards. 2 big catches, included 1 touchdown, and the other catch set up a touchdown.
Yeah, this is a big catch, or a big play right here. You know, it's 2nd and 10. They're either going to complete this and have a chance or miss it, and
watch it all evaporate.
Going to have some time.
Here's O'Brien. Now the pressure comes. O'Brien eluding the first wave, still on his feet, and he has a completion. He's not going to have a first down from John Lucan, but he gets pretty close.
Well, it's going to be, depends on where the spot is.
They got it spotted just across the 40.
It's going to be awful close because they got to go to the 41.5. Watch it. Here's the instant replay. There he breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle there, throws the ball see, the thing I liked about him there, he gathered up, what I call gathered up, and got some poise, got his balance back. Here we are. What? This is strength here. He steps up there. Nothing's open.
Watch his feet.
Yeah. What? See? He's getting himself set. What? Now, he breaks the tackle. Now, what's he gathering himself up here and delivered the football? Got himself back on balance and delivered the ball and able to throw that short pass with some accuracy. That takes a little poise.
Third down, less than a yard to go. O'Brien has the first down. So the Husky drive continues across the 40-yard line. No flags down.
Well, they got 8 seconds, John. Well, you try one more play, and then the field goal.
You're the coach.
Kick now. Oh, don't me to
what are you asking me for?
Well, I want to get your opinion. I'm schooling you and Peter, you know, in case a couple of jobs open up. They're going to kick it now. I think that's wise. You're not going to, if you complete it with 8 seconds.
You get yourself a little closer to try, but
your time will run out on you if you complete it.
Clock has started, so they'll get a shot at it. Jerry Foster had one from 52 in overtime.
St. Francis is trying to psych him. They call timeout.
They'll get after that rookie kicker.
Yeah, that's right. They want that rookie kicker to think about it a little bit.
Get after the rookie.
This is a 45-yarder here, so.
See, now you can see Foster standing all by himself. He's thinking about this just a little bit more.
Yeah, it's tough to be a kicker, but you are alone a lot.
You're alone a lot. Now, it's not the toughest life in the world because you don't get hit very often.
No, but you're alone out there, you know.
Foster has hit on 2 of 5. The big one was 52 yards.
Yeah.
I guess the one he will remember if the Huskies do not come back and win this football game is the convert.
Yeah, that convert. He'll remember that one.
He shanked that one unbelievably.
Oh, yeah, very bad kick.
This one from 45 yards away. And he's wide. Axman take it out of the end zone and surrender near the 10-yard line. That should be the last play of the first overtime.
So, with the first overtime session finished, 10 minutes still to be played in the ball game. Stay with us. It's 31-20. St. Francis Xavier over the St. Mary's Huskies. Lots more football coming up from Husky Stadium in just a moment.
He did not get good foot in that one.
Kaufman King Treads. For a tough job, get one of the toughest boots money can buy. Rugged leathers, steel toes, safety soles, CSA grade 1, tough soles, guaranteed not to separate, comfort from day one. Remarkable Kaufman King Treads, tough enough to take anything you can throw at them.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium in Halifax. I'm Peter Watts, along with John Wells and Tuffy Knight. It's 31-20 for the St. Francis Xavier X-Men over the St. Mary's Huskies. We're going into the second 10-minute overtime period of this contest, tied at 17 at the end of regulation time. And what was a slow-scoring first half has developed into a pretty good offensive football game, gentlemen.
Well, it's been a very enjoyable evening, no question about that. An 11-point spread. The Huskies have to get back into it rather quickly here if they want to give us a big finish. We've already seen one big finish tonight, so yeah. I would like to see another one. How about you?
Well, that'd be fine, yeah. And as I said, it started out very slow, and you were calling it a hockey score, and
right.
The second half, actually what it was, they just need to have to kind of tune up, you know. They thought they were still practicing. And,
well, I like the way they play football out here on the East Coast. They play long games. You get your money's worth.
Well, it's been a good second half and overtime. The first half was a good football game, but it was defensively and oriented. And the second half, they pulled the plug, and both teams started to move the ball.
We're into second overtime now. As the Axemen kick it away, picked up by Mike O'Brien for the Huskies. O'Brien is down near the 20-yard line. Rather sensational on a couple of kick returns this evening, but that one just didn't get going for him.
He couldn't get going north and south on that. He kept running east and west on there, and he couldn't get the thing cut upfield. I think he looks like he's about on the 19-yard line, which is not good field position at all.
little better coverage by St. Francis Xavier that time, too.
Yes, it was good coverage. They kept their lanes and didn't convert. Everyone stayed right where they were, down right through the lane.
So it's first down for the Huskies. And Calvin Scott, the ball carrier, once more. He grabs about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6. Talking of O'Brien on kickoff returns, he has 6 and accumulated 51 yards on the night. Huskies face 2nd and 6. Jerry O'Brien in his 2nd year has gone all the way at quarterback for the Huskies. On the other side of the ball, Billy Ray Somerville in his 2nd game in college football as a starter has gone all the way to the X-Men at quarterback. O'Brien will throw. Graham has the catch. No, he doesn't. I don't know about that one, Tuffy. I thought he came down with the ball.
I thought he
lose
did
it?
too.
You're not supposed to lose the football in contact with the ground, right?
Right. Exactly right. Here we are. Straight drawback. He does a flag pattern. Watch. Fakes the post and does a flag pattern. Great catch here. Watch. Up. Oh. I don't know how you could call that an incomplete pass.
Especially when the official that called it had his back to him.
Well, I mean, here it is again. Now, this is definitely, it might be a fumble, but it's a completed pass. Watch this. He has got control of it. There. That's control. He catches the ball above his head, brings it down to his waist. He has control. No question about that.
Huskies did not argue vehemently. And Scott Anderson kicks it away on 3rd down. On the return is Don Dempsey. And he gives the X-Men excellent field position. Greg Kerwin leading the tacklers for the Huskies.
Well, I think what football needs in this part of the country is 6 quarters. This is a great football game after you get done warming up in the first half.
Well, the CFL may see this, you know, and they may make a motion that we go to this. I wouldn't be surprised. The last week, Toronto and BC was 21-21, so...
Overtime would have been fun in that one.
Only if you win.
You're settling for the 1 point as an Argo, as being on the staff of the Argos. You'll take
when
the
you're
1
at
point.
BC.
All right, big opening for Gorgachuk. Close to a first down.
That was a trap play there. I don't know if we'll be able to see that again or not. They've run this play a lot the second half and overtime. Here we are. Watch, he hits it, cuts back up through there. That's excellent execution. They have run that play extremely well tonight.
Actually, they spotted at a 7-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 3. There's Billy Ray. Good name for a quarterback.
Yeah, sound like he should be from Alabama or Mississippi, doesn't it?
Flags are down. Gorgachuk carried. Now, he should have a first down pending the discussion on the infraction here.
The illegal procedure against St. Francis Xavier.
I point out again, this is an important contest for the X-Men. They are trying to catch Acadia and Mount Allison for the top 2 spots in the Atlantic Conference. The top 2 teams are the ones that make the playoffs. St. Mary's has already been eliminated from postseason play. They are 0-4 coming into this contest. But this is a critically important game for the X-Men because they lost their first 2 starts this season. They cannot afford to lose any more if they expect to be involved in the playoffs.
They're going to have to hustle here, John, because he came into the game very late with the play.
Procedure call against the X-Men. It is 2nd and 7. Somerville back in a hurry and fired well off target for Don Dempsey.
He threw that ball a little quick. The man was open, but he didn't get himself set very well there. He come back and
he had time.
Here we are. He had plenty of time. Yes. Here he got back in the pocket very quick. See.
Well, maybe not as much time.
Well, the man had his hand up there who blocked his vision. See what happens is those little quarterbacks, 5'8", 5'10", and that's why O'Brien has an advantage. He's 6'3". He can see over top of some of those big linemen.
Malarvik down to the 20, taken there by Claire rather.
So we've got 6 minutes and 55 seconds left to play in this second overtime period. It's 31-20 for St. Francis Xavier over the St. Mary's Huskies. As you look at Dale McClare.
And you coached his father.
No, no.
You coached against his father.
I coached against his father, yes.
Early in your career?
Yeah, early in my career. I probably was...
We're getting a pretty good bead now on exactly when you did start this career.
Yeah, this career started, like I said, when I was young. I was pretty smart for my age, though. That's why I was ahead of most guys.
Huskies on first down. O'Brien in some trouble, and he's down.
He had a lot of time.
Lots of time. He has to throw the football. If it's not open, you throw the football out of bounds, and you go 2nd and 10, because now it looks like it's going to be 2nd and 15. That is another thing that is very difficult to teach a quarterback. They don't like to throw it out of bounds. But if you do, you don't have many interceptions that way, and you don't come up 2nd and 15, 2nd and 17.
But
that
if you
goes
throw
back
out of bounds
again to
all
this.
night, you don't have many completions
Well,
either.
no, but you still got a chance. It's 2nd and 10.
Not to count, anyway.
It's 2nd and 10.
I think you're right, Mr. Knight. I would never disagree with you.
No,
I think your point is
think
well taken.
Now it's 2nd and 16. Had to step up into the pocket. He failed to do so, and he loses even more yardage. So the ex-defense comes up pretty big.
He was looking to
the Huskies back.
He was looking to the left side of the formation again, and that seems to be the side where they've had more success throwing the ball. I don't remember very much in the way of completion average that they've had when they're throwing to their right. I don't really understand why that's the case. Mr. Knight,
well,
maybe you have a theory.
The only theory is that the receiver on the left side has made some outstanding catches tonight. And Thomas on the right side has dropped a few. So that's the only theory. And, so they've thrown the ball. St. Francis Xavier had everybody back that time. They only rushed 4 people.
Good catch.
There's the break.
Oh, LeClaire lost it. He had it and lost it. I think the X would have come up with it once more. LeClaire was going for the touchdown. There was no question about that. He's a little angry at himself.
He
could have been a hero.
He was going to catch it and take it on the run, which I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Take the ball on the run. Here it is. Right through his arms. What? He comes up. That's Dempsey. And look, tries to pick it up on the run without breaking stride. Loses the ball. And St. Francis Xavier comes up with the football. That's Bruce Loney. Came up with the football. That would have been a big break for St. Mary's there if they could have got the ball or got it and scored. The ball has not bounced very well for St. Mary's tonight, I must say that. I would suggest that Mr. Hayes gets to church on Sunday and throws a lot of money in the collection plate and says some prayers, because the ball hasn't bounced good for him tonight.
Has it ever been an example, though, of the kind of thing that Larry Utek was talking about some 4 hours ago when we started this telecast, or almost 4 hours ago, but he said it's been a frustrating year, and that's exactly the point. On the other side, here's Lance Bullock trying to get his troops ready to win this football game, wrap it up completely, and get on with the business of getting ready for next week. He, I don't think, expected quite this spirited an effort out of the St. Mary's Huskies.
St. Mary's, it has been frustrating because they've played fairly well. Like I said, they made the mistakes that hurt them, but they played pretty well. And it's very frustrating for a coach when that happens.
This is 2nd and 7. Somerville throws short of a first down. Jim Chenzi breaking up the play. Don Dempsey on the receiving end of the Somerville pass.
Now that's good range for the middle linebacker. The middle linebacker, since Chenzi there, is playing middle linebacker. He catches the ball, gets the guy, and makes the tackle for only a 7-yard gain coming out to the flat. You have to have pretty good speed to be able to make that play. That's an outstanding play there, middle linebacker.
So it is 3rd down. The X-Men kick it away. Milanovic. And here's Dale McClare. McClare across the 35 to the 37.
Mike O'Brien, number 73, I think it was, that got down there, got in the middle of that scrum and fought off about 3 blocks to make the tackle. Good defensive play.
That was good coverage. St. Francis Xavier now is getting down, and I think they're content of getting them maybe a 10 or 15-yard return, but not letting them break the big one off. I think they'll play their defense the same way. Their DBs will be a little deeper here, and they'll let you catch a ball in front of them. But I don't think we'll see any caught behind anybody.
Jerry O'Brien on first down. He'll throw far side.
Good throw.
Tony Thomas can't come up with it. Tight coverage that time, 24. John McIver was there. So was number 15, Mark McDougall.
That was a good throw, though. The ball was thrown over the outside shoulder, and it was to the sideline. Here we are. Here he gets up. I think this is the place to throw the football if you're going to throw it, that long pass.
And Thomas hit McIver beat by his
Yep. It was, you know, that pass is 2 yards from being completion. It hit a yard inbounds. Is exactly where you want to throw the football on that pass.
2nd and 10, Huskies. Just across the 35. Over the middle, he has his man, John Lucan. From O'Brien, it is a first down just across midfield.
Now, he threw that ball well there. That ball was thrown with some authority. Watch, here we are here. Straight drop back, short 3-step drop, and he drills the ball in there before the linebacker can get over there. That was a well-thrown ball. Had some, you know, some force on it.
I think that's such a great play to use, Tuffy, because it means that it's quick play. You get it off quickly before a defense really has time to read and react to it.
3-step drop. The quarterback's only taking 3 steps. It's very tough to sack him when he's only taking 3 steps.
O'Brien will throw once more. A flag is down. The intended receiver is Graham.
They're going to call holding, I think. But that's, see, you throw the ball, and I keep emphasizing this, and maybe people's tired of hearing it, but what happens is you throw the ball to the outside shoulder towards the sideline. You don't get him intercepted. It's incomplete, but you don't get him intercepted. No, I think it might be roughing on St. Francis Xavier.
That's exactly what it is. So it means the Huskies are going to get the football and a big gain out of this, even though the pass was incomplete. It'll be a first down for St. Mary's, and it will be inside the St. Francis Xavier 40-yard line here, in fact, the 38. 3:12 to go in this second overtime period. Still 31-20 for St. Francis Xavier. The X-Men don't have this game wrapped up yet by any means.
11 points the difference. John Lucan, number 21, has had a pretty impressive inning. He's had 3 receptions, 44 yards, and 1 touchdown for St. Mary's. First down here for Terry O'Brien. O'Brien looking that time for Will Durston.
If we
was off target.
Yeah, if we could see that again, you'll see that Terry was not set on that play.
As good as the first 2 passes were, that was a bad one.
Right, see, he's running backwards when he throws that ball. See, look where his left foot went. His left foot was pointed towards the sideline. His toe was pointed towards the sideline. The ball was overshot 10 yards, and the receiver was open. That toe has got to be pointed towards the receiver most of the time, or otherwise you have to strong arm it.
And Durston, in his 4th year from Thunder Bay, Ontario, was in the open.
Yes, he was, wide open.
Very
there.
clear. 2nd and 10. O'Brien with time. Same play. Lucan, or rather, Durston can't make the catch that time.
That ball was thrown well there. It was thrown low to the outside. He has to make that catch. I think he might be hurting a little bit. He's kind of gimping back to the huddle. But that ball was thrown very well there. Low and outside.
2 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock until full time. Still 31-20, St. Francis Xavier leading. Now as the coach, what do? Do you go for first down here? It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I think you go for the first down.
Well, Larry must be listening to you. Larry Utek, head coach, St. Mary's.
Well, he always did. I don't know why he would change now.
Mental telepathy, I think.
Yeah.
It's 3rd and 10. Big gamble here. Huskies. O'Brien time, and not enough of it. He had time initially, but everyone upfield.
Everybody was
covered.
covered. St. Francis Xavier did a good job. They dropped everybody back, and they rushed.
They know it's a passing
people.
situation.
Certainly, has to be.
So the Huskies turn it over, and really their faint glimmer of hope of coming back from an 11-point deficit with 2 minutes and 31 seconds on the clock really ends right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you...
Without a big play, without a turnover.
Start that song, Turn Out the Light.
As you don't turn them out yet. We still haven't got out of the stadium. They turn the lights out, it'll be pitch black in here.
That's just one of our things, Peter. I start singing, but I don't sing well.
You have such a distinctive voice, I don't know why you wouldn't sing well, Tuffy.
You and my mother both say that, John.
Oh, Somerville over the middle has his man. Good catch and a good hit. The hit supplied by Chenzi, the catch by number 70 Kerwin, by number 70 Muller.
But you'll see, this is, like I say, this is one of those teeth clickers, or you go to the dentist tomorrow to get the filling put back in, because he puts it on him here. Watch. Oh. That's hard. That's hard on you, you know.
Especially on artificial turf when you hit the turf that hard.
Yeah, that turf is not very soft, and that makes it even tougher.
Mark it a 5-yard gain. It is 2nd and 5. Exman. This is Dempsey. And Dempsey has the first down with ease. Out across the 50 to about the 53-yard line. There's ejection shown on the face of Larry Utek.
Larry told me to call timeout on the next play. He hadn't given up yet, you know. And
Well,
I don't blame
give
him.
up. There's
That's right. I don't blame
1:57.
him.
You need a big play, though. You got to
That's
get
right.
a touchdown quickly and hope to work it in close.
I
You
don't
need a
blame him.
turnover.
It's not over yet. He knows that.
It is a first down for the X-Men. Good running inside that time by Gorjachuk.
That's that trap play again. They've run that thing very well. Run that thing. They run it to death the second half here. But they execute. There comes the guard. See? Trap 65. Trap 65 there. The left guard pulled a trap 65 for St. Mary's and just kicked him out. They ran the thing back. Here it is again. We didn't see the guard pull, but they run that play a number of times the second half there where they trap. It's a good play.
Mark at a 7-yard gain. It is 2nd and 3. 1:42 on the clock. The score reads 31-20 for St. Francis University.
We have a moment to thank ATV, who've supplied the production facilities for this telecast tonight. A lot of these fellows are working on their first football game. I think they've done a pretty good job.
Yes, they've done a real good job, Peter, I think. And Bob Hayes trained all of them, I think. You know, he trains them all
You're
down
giving
here.
Bob Hayes credit
I'll
for
give
this,
Bob
too.
Hayes credit for that. Yeah, he trains those guys. He trains about everybody and everything down here. So he tells me. I don't know.
You're looking at your watch and saying, if we have to stay tonight, I want to make sure that I've got a warm bed to sleep in, and maybe Bob Hayes is going to have to supply it.
That's exactly right. My mother taught me that early in life.
This is 2nd and 3 for St. Francis. And they have a first down. Gorjachuk once more. 17 carries for 110 yards now.
He's had a good night tonight. He's hit in there like a fullback. This is just straight ahead. They didn't trap that time. Straight ahead blocking. And he's a big, strong runner, and he's done a real good job. He's had a great game tonight.
Watch this hit. Tom Bailey, number 15 for St. Mary's, right there, makes a pretty good hit at the 40-yard line.
And the amazing part is, Bailey's one of those little defensive halfbacks coming up, taking that big fullback on. That takes a little courage to do that.
He plays like his coach did.
Yeah.
Timeout violation.
UTEC would do that to you. That's why he's not playing in the CFL today. He's got that sore neck down there. It's been sore for about 3 years.
It'll be 2nd and 10 now. Let me take a moment to thank our spotter, Bruce Hopkins, for his work here tonight, as well as his tour of Halifax last evening.
Oh, did you go on tour with him?
I was on a
well,
tour.
I knew the town, that's why I didn't go.
A guided tour.
Oh, that's excellent. Beautiful city.
It is. It is a lovely place. And we'll be back here later on in the season. Second and 10, and it'll be short of the first down, so the X-Men will be giving up the football, but not quite enough time left for St. Mary's without a miracle.
Lance Bullock is going to kick a field goal.
Lance is going to do it himself, or he's
Well, I
going
mean,
to send the kicker?
he's going to have the kicker kick the field goal, you know.
Lance is out of eligibility, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah. He played about 4 or 5 years down at the University of Windsor, and he was an outstanding pass receiver. But he played a lot of different spots. They moved him around a lot his last year, I think, and because he was such a good athlete, he was able to do a lot of different things for him. Played some offense, defense, and played both ways a part of his last season.
Jadron Milarvik will try from about 42 yards away.
Milarvik, he looks like a kicker, you know.
Got a good name for a kicker, Milarvik.
Yeah, he looks like one of those field goal punters, you know. A little bit chubby in the hips.
I hope he's not listening.
Well, those kickers, they don't do a lot of exercise during the practice station. They just stand out there and kick the football back and forth.
That one is well wide. 1:07 on the clock. The Huskies give up one more point.
I think what happened there, I didn't like that. If we can see a replay of that, the blocker runs across his path just before, you can't see it from this angle, just before he kicks it. Watch, maybe we can see it from another angle here. The blocker will run across his path, which breaks his concentration. Watch, I don't know if you can see it to the right of the picture there.
It's already happened.
Already happened there. It breaks that kicker's concentration when you do it that late. And you have to do that, but you do it a little quicker than that. Those kickers are very sensitive people. They're like my dog, very sensitive. Boy, you can't talk to her mean at all.
You wouldn't have your dog around when Bob Hayes is around.
Oh, no. My dog would bite him.
Just while we have a minute here, I want to remind everyone about Concordia at Ottawa. That's TSN's next football telecast for the CIAU. It'll be Friday night, October the 26th, from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, 7:30 Eastern Time. There it is, Concordia at Ottawa GG's, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 on the West Coast, 8:30 here in the Halifax area, 9 o'clock in Newfoundland. We hope you can join us.
1st and 10 for the Huskies. Time has all but run out on St. Mary's at this stage of things. And head coach Larry Utek. They trail by 12, 32-20. Option play here. And it's picked up. Throwing the football was John Lucan, the intended receiver Tony Thomas. It's picked off, and the X-Men content to run out the clock a little bit on the interception return.
Lucan threw the ball fairly well, pretty strong arm. St. Francis Xavier wasn't going for any of that double reverse stuff or reverses. They had those defensive backs behind everybody. But I think it's going to be roughing the passer here on St. Francis Xavier.
57 seconds left on the clock. An injured X-Man down near the 35-yard line. Minute flag is up. It has been up several times this evening. We've gone through 4 quarters and 2 overtime periods.
That guy's arm's getting tired. We're going to get him in a weight room at St. Mary's tomorrow so he can hold that flag up
he only practiced for 4-quarter football, and we've got 6-quarter football here in Atlantic Canada tonight.
I'm told, John, that some of our more loyal viewers are working on one of the oil rigs out in the Hibernia field off the East Coast. So I'm not sure if it's 8:30 their time or 9 o'clock their time next week or 2 weeks from now when we have Ottawa and Concordia. But we're delighted that they could tune us in, and we hope that they'll be able to join us on Friday, October the 26th.
Well, we're looking forward to going back to the capital.
We are?
Oh, yes. Oh. I always like to go to the capital of Canada.
Okay. Is that an announcement you're running for office? Or?
Yeah, I thought I might, yes. I could get someone to support me.
That may be the tough part, Tuffy. That may be the difficult
My mother would vote, but it's tough. One vote don't usually win unless everybody else is on vacation.
Bob Hayes just volunteered to be the campaign manager.
Terry O'Brien is down, a loss of 7 yards at least, 52 seconds on the clock, so time is dwindling on the St. Mary's Huskies. They had a chance to win this football game. They had a chance very late stages of the 4th quarter. A missed field goal by Jerry Foster, or a missed convert by Jerry Foster may well go down as the reason that we are in overtime and the reason that St. Francis can improve their record to 3-2 and stay in the running for top spot in the Atlantic Conference.
Well, right now it's going to be impossible, I would think, for St. Mary's, almost impossible for St. Mary's to throw the ball deep here.
They'll get back in the prevent. The
They're going to get back there.
And O'Brien underthrows at that time. Lucan was the intended receiver, but he was nowhere near the football. 34 seconds remaining.
Terry threw that ball, like I said, off his back foot, kind of backing away from the line of scrimmage that time.
This is the frustrating time for a coach, knowing that you cannot do too much in this current season. Certainly this game would appear to be lost. But you have to think that Larry Utek is starting to build a system here that maybe in another year or so is going to produce, if not a champion, at least a solid contender in the Atlantic University Conference.
Well, I'm sure that I've got confidence in Larry that he's going to work at it. The tough part is to get your players to come out there next week and attack the practice station on Monday with some enthusiasm and interest.
O'Brien got that one away. He got a first down. John Lucan is still standing, and he's down to the 25-yard line. It was 3rd down and 15 yards to go, and O'Brien somehow got it away.
He threw that ball under a lot of pressure there. As I said, he's such a big quarterback, he's able to stand in there. Now, you will see this here. He stands in there tall, and it's what, he stands right in there with pressure. They ducked under pressure, and he stands in there and strong arms the ball down there. As you can see, there was a lot of wobble in that ball, but he strong armed the ball down there.
Picked up about 30 yards of real estate in doing it. They're at the 27-yard line.
And it is a first down for the Huskies. Loose football. Lucan comes up with it, but I guess we'll dead just before that.
Well, I think they're going to call an incomplete pass there because it wasn't a real strong pass. It was almost like a shovel pass.
O'Brien in the evening, 9 completions for 26 tries, 132 yards.
In the final analysis, the one statistic that is important other than the score is that the St. Francis Xavier X-Men have moved into at least a temporary tie for first place in the conference with Acadia and Mount Allison, pending the outcome of that game this week between Acadia and Mount Allison. And certainly they're going to be in a share of, no worse than a share of second place, and second or first is where they have to be to qualify for postseason play. So a scary time for Lance Bullock for a while, but his team has pulled out a victory and they're still alive in the playoff battle.
4 seconds on the clock. O'Brien looks deep to the end zone. He's overthrown it, I think. And that should be the ball game. A long evening in Halifax ends with victory for St. Francis.
So the final score is 32-20 for St. Francis Xavier over the St. Mary's Huskies. For John Wells and Tuffy Knight, I'm Peter Watts. Thanks for joining us. So long from Huskies.